Welcome to the Smark Foundation podcast. I'm Aaron. This is Adam.
Oh, hi, Marks.
And we are here to cover the best and worst of AEW for the last week, as well as a special Call It the Ring segment. Um, I guess first we'll try to go over some news. My regular news of the week, Dark Side of the Ring this week was Big Boss Man.
Yeah.
And I cried several times.
Yeah, by all accounts, he was a pretty good human being behind the scenes.
Yeah, just like a
And
sweetheart.
just yeah. Played
Um,
played the bastardiest bastard you've ever seen in 1999. But like in real life he was, a sweetie.
yeah.
Like many of the best the people who play the best villains, they have the darkness inside them because they've witnessed it, not because it's of them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. In this case, finding out that he was like, because I wasn't really aware. I guess I didn't put two and two together, but I wasn't really aware that he was Bubba Rogers,
Yeah.
Jim Cornette's bodyguard,
Hmm.
which technically makes him a member of the Midnight Express.
I guess yeah.
And
Yeah, he didn't catch Cornette properly when he fell off the scaffold,
well,
and
Jim
Corny
doesn't
wound up
seem,
breaking his leg.
yeah, Corny doesn't seem to be holding that against him though either, because he pretty much openly wept on Dark Side of the Ring about how Ray passed away like 2 or 3 weeks before they did the very first Midnight Express reunion.
Oh.
And like he literally like had to leave the chair for a little bit. He was like, y'all got to give me a sec, because he was crying. He was straight up crying. And
Yeah.
when I don't know, it's like watching Ric Flair cry. Like I might not like the guy that much, but fuck, man, like I don't want to. I don't want him to cry.
Much like laughter, crying can often be contagious.
Oh yeah, it can. Yeah, it can. Um. So yeah, it was not as controversial a story, but just mostly a story about a really nice guy who went to a different company, not because he was tired of creative or anything like that, but because he wanted to spend more time with his kids. Who's somebody who was drawn into an addiction by a doctor who was well known to get wrestlers addicted to substances that they probably didn't need. And also probably that would probably be the overarching point of the episode, was bringing attention to how many wrestlers we've lost, especially from our era, due to the nature of the business and the nature of no off season, and combining that with a road lifestyle and drugs and things like that. And I thought his wife and daughter were fantastic in this. The talking heads from the wrestling business were also all really well. Briscoe was in there. Jerry Briscoe was in there. And Jim Cornette and a bunch of other, like, the older crew, of guys. Because at this point, those were the older guys,
Yeah.
But I mean, they went over pretty much the the A to Z of his career, and what happened in his personal life that led up to his death and stuff. And but really used that to kind of drive home the point of like, this business kind of spits people out, and I think next week is going to be an even bigger example of that, because next week is the Renegade from WCW.
Ooh, that one's
Yeah.
messy.
Yeah, that one's going to be real messy compared to this week. But yeah, Dark Side of the Ring just hitting it out of the park all season, man. Like, if you guys are, imbibing any additional wrestling content aside from the wrestling shows themselves, I would have Dark Side of the Ring at the top of that list right now. Because yeah, they're really.
If you like to be sad, boy, do we have a.
I don't always
for
like to
you.
be sad, but I don't always like to be sad. But by God, am I not mad at the guys from Dark Side for making me sad? I'm kind of at some points mad at the nature of the wrestling business, because it's not something I'm immune to or haven't seen myself, So Um, yeah, really good episode this week. As far as news goes,
The
uh,
thing I caught this afternoon was kind of harkening back to the infamous list that Cody Rhodes had when he first left WWE, and said, like, this is all the guys that I want to face, now that I'm out on my own doing the indie thing.
yeah,
That's become kind of like a little bit of a trope, I guess. You know who has one now? Adam Copeland. Now, he didn't, from what I saw, he didn't show the entire list. The list is made up of two parts. One are the venues that he wants to eventually wrestle in before he's done, and the others are wrestlers. He only showed the venues, although the top part of the first name is visible. That name is Kenny Omega. And the venues are... I'm trying to remember them off the top of my head because I don't have it in front of me, but I know one of them was the Tokyo Dome. So we could be getting Adam Copeland at like Wrestle Kingdom or something.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
A weird thing to think about.
It is, but
a very cool thing to consider.
I'm for it. Let that man wrestle wherever he wants and whoever he wants.
Sure, yeah.
Fucking let him, because he's putting on some stellar shit right now. I can't be mad at him at all.
The other two of the other ones are Arena Mexico and Wembley, which he'll check off in a matter of the next month.
Next 3 weeks, yeah.
And I can't remember the fourth one. It wasn't something that immediately sticks out in my mind. Let me see if I can look it up real quick.
Yeah, because I'm going over like venues in my head, and I'm like, oh, he's wrestling.
It wasn't one that I would. I mean, I think I've heard of it, but it was not one that would have immediately came to mind. Maple Leaf Gardens was the other one. I can't believe he's never worked there.
I can't either, but I mean,
like maybe it's too small, and WWE never ran them.
Maybe, but if that's where the Toronto Maple Leafs play, it's definitely big enough for an AEW show because they run at hockey arenas when they're in Canada a lot.
Yeah,
so be perfect.
Capacity for hockey is okay. So the great thing about Wikipedia is that it can be very precise. The downside is that it can be very confusing.
What's the hockey
ice
capacity?
Hockey capacity from 2012 to present is only 2,539.
Okay,
before that it was like 15,000. But it's also, so let's see, 7. So it's 2,796 with additional amenities. So it would need to be like it would probably need to be like a Dynamite. I don't think they'd hold a pay-per-view there.
Maybe a Collision.
Yeah.
It seems even kind of small for a Dynamite, because Dynamite's like 5K usually, or 6K. You know, they did.
Well, I mean, with these smaller venues that they keep going back to, usually those are only around 3,000 seaters. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'd rather it be full, a small venue, go to be full and raucous than SummerSlam Night 1, where there were empty seats all on the hard camera side.
Based on what I can see, man, I think I based on what I can see and what I've seen on ticket sales sites, I am pretty sure that All In is going to outsell one night or the other of SummerSlam, and maybe both.
I don't think it'll sell out both of them.
If they add New Day, it might.
I mean, they should definitely advertise the New Day beforehand to make. I mean, you can try and sell it as a surprise, but I don't think this is a CM Punk situation where, it's in his hometown. They've been dropping hints all over the place. It's basically the biggest open secret that he was coming back, where it was a sure thing to let the rumor sell it. I think you need to advertise Wembley Stadium.
Yeah.
You need to advertise to fill up as many seats as you can for Wembley. So yes, as soon as they're
Yeah.
officially available to sign, we know they're coming over. Just announce it. Announce it. Put them on the show somewhere, and that'll sell probably 5 to 10,000 tickets in and of itself. If I had to guess.
You know, I think it would probably be a good idea to do that, just because there are so many other surprises that could happen.
Yeah.
Now I'm not sure, okay, but I mean, we have to look at potentials, and that potentials means anything that we're not 100% sure is not happening. Okay, so like any member of the Wyatt Six could show up, and some of them we would like, and some of them we wouldn't. Sheamus could show up. Kyrie Sane could show up.
Sheamus can't show up. Sheamus.
Sheamus won't be ready yet.
He can be in the crowd.
He could be in the crowd.
He could be a paying patron.
Yeah, Kyrie Sane could show up. Maybe not Bailey, but maybe in the crowd like Sheamus. Depending on where we're at that point, because it looks like she's saying goodbye.
Yeah, we now know that she's leaving somewhere in between October and December. We just don't know where.
Yeah,
but time frame.
But there's also returns that could be surprises in and of themselves as well. Like, we know Buddy Matthews is healthy, but we haven't seen him yet. And his return is going to be impactful. Look at the guy. Just look at him. Okay. I mean,
Swerve's been missing for a month.
Yeah. Swerve's been missing for a month. Tony Storm's been missing for like 4 or 5 now.
Yeah.
Now we all have our theories. We're not going to conjecturize because we don't know. And if it's something that's not our fucking business, it's not our fucking business. She's not going to tell us. But if it's a short-term thing, this could be the perfect spot for her to come back. If it's not, who knows? But we just want her back,
Yeah, desperately.
But there's a lot of like possible surprises of people we haven't seen. I've heard rumblings. I don't know if this has made an appearance on any wrestling news sites yet, and I am not a journalist. Okay, guys, I only have group chats with wrestlers and stuff like that. But that doesn't make me a journalist. That just makes me a referee who is privy to group chats sometimes. Okay.
And what they say, telephone, telegraph, was it telephone?
Telegram, telewrestler. Yeah.
Telegram, that's it.
Yeah, telephone, telegram, telewrestler. That's the easiest way. And
yeah.
I have possibly heard through the grapevine that maybe a certain somebody who has been a perennial opponent for Tony Storm may not be very happy over in NXT.
And that might have happened.
I would welcome this Hollywood ending actor with open arms to come back to AEW.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she got called up to the main roster, and she hasn't had a match yet. The press she's been doing has been company line stuff. So, I mean, they're wrestlers, they're workers. You do not know what is real.
Yeah.
That is, you take everything at face value, you're going to be disappointed. You take everything with a grain of salt. I mean, it's a more paranoid existence, but you're probably less likely to be disappointed.
In wrestling, now I would say that the person that I heard this from is probably 75-25 as far as like accuracy and like knowledge. And I mean, they're somebody who I know for a fact, like when WWE or AEW is in their town, they're getting an extra check or a tryout match or a dark match or something like that. Like, they work a lot. They've been on WrestleManias and stuff like that. So I would trust that they, and with the amount of times that they've been right when they tell me things, I would trust that they have a pretty good insight as to what's going on. match. Like, I mean, I have
Yeah.
not heard anything to the contrary that they are not a lock. Like, I'm pretty positive that they're going to be walking into All In at hopefully advertised, but if not, they're definitely going to show up. So, you know, I mean, there's a lot like Bailey saying goodbye. Like, there's a lot of shit going on in WWE that, like, I don't think people really expected. I think people had kind of written off like, especially the hardcore AEW sickos like us. Themselves fed pilled, and that's where they're going to end their career at because they so long. People like, if you would have told me a year ago, Bailey might end up in ladies is over here, but she's a lifer, you know, like she's just a lifer, and that's where she's going to end her career. Now I'm not so sure, you know. Tons of other people. We talk a little bit in our Call Out the Ring segment this week about other people that, you know, might come over from AEW or could eventually end up in AEW. I mean, there's a cadre of people, like hundreds of names probably, that I just want to see rotate in and out.
Yeah.
I would really enjoy a WCW type situation, like an Attitude Era thing where we had people constantly jumping back and forth. But contracts are just too long these days. 5 years is like the minimum, you know, and
yeah.
But also at the same time, I would love it if Tony and Tony could sit down, or, you know, Khan and Khan could sit down and figure out a way to turn this a little bit more sports-like, which TKO would fucking love, where we have trades, like a trade window would be nice.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, WWE could go on and be like, look, we really fucking want, you know, Brody King. And then AEW could come back and be like, okay, well, we really want Becky Lynch. You know, like, imagine, I mean, just, it would, I don't see any way that, as long as they can agree on terms, that this would be bad for either business to have some kind of trade system where this contract shit is not applicable during like a certain window, you know, like they do in football, soccer, for you American folks. You know, like a trade window would be nice, you know, maybe not the way the NBA or you know, NFL do it, but maybe more like the way soccer does it. We're like, oh, we're going to sign this guy to a 1-season contract, and we're just technically only borrowing them from you.
Right.
You know, where, you know, the club and the player both get paid for this person coming over for X amount of games or whatever. Really would blow up the whole Forbidden Door concept, like right off the hinges. But there's so many people, like it's got to be, New Day has to be, like, I would love it if they would show up this week at Arena Mexico. That would be fucking fantastic. I don't know if it's
surprise that would be.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I mean, I think that would be, I don't know if they're available to be signed by that point anyway, but like if they were, and that's where they showed up, whoa, holy Moses! That, I mean, what a way to debut! Like, I don't know if there's enough room on this card. This card, have you seen this card,
dude? I cannot even
matches
fathom how fucking.
There's no way they're fitting this in 2 hours. No way.
No, I don't think
Not
so.
at all.
I bet it's at least half of the collision runtime also.
Yeah, you gotta, I mean, you gotta figure it's like a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
At least. With 8 matches on the card, there's no way they could fit anything else. I mean, they would need at least 2.5 hours and probably 3.
Yeah, yeah. Especially with these, like,
and it is a Grand Slam, so I don't know, maybe they've already decided with the network, oh yeah, sure, you have a 3-hour episode.
I mean, they should really call this Grand Slam Mexico Party Edition, though, because I mean, it's like
lots of multi-mans.
Yeah, we got Willow and the Birds versus.
It's very lucha coded in that way.
Yeah, Mercedes and Divine Dominion versus Willow and the Birds. Demand versus Adam Page and Brodito. Cage and Cope and the Bucks versus 4 of the Death Riders. Mystico, Jericho, and Darby Allin. Never thought I would say that combination.
Yeah.
Versus the Don Callis family, including Hechicero and Okada, along with Kevin Knight. Like, this, and then the number one spot Casino Gauntlet matches, Ciampa, Andrade, and Commander. That's 5 party matches as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. And I'm gonna have I'm off the next day. I'm drinking.
Yeah.
Like, this looks so fun. Plus, Fletcher and Bailey, is going to be like a 5-star match.
Yeah.
Stat and Persephone is going to be like a battle of the strength of those two. Like, they're both so strong. And then Mark Davis and Will Ospreay. I mean, come on, who beats each other better than best friends?
Right?
Oh, just an aside real quick from my kayfabe loving wife, who did not realize till this week that Mark Davis was Australian.
Yeah.
So when he came on and when he did his promo, she was like, that is not the voice I expected to come out of that guy.
Apparently she wasn't paying attention when they were first introduced as Aussie Open.
No, she really, I don't think when they were first introduced as Aussie Open, it was somebody that I knew that she didn't. And so like when I'm like, she'll ask me who they are, but like until they, gone from the way Aussie Open entered AEW to where they are now she's like, okay, I know who both of these people are, and I'm a fan of both of these people, but like, I can't drag her kicking and screaming to watch New Japan, man, and I'm not going to force the issue. So, she does not bother me at all while I'm watching my 8-hour 2-night Wrestle Kingdom once a year, or the Super Juniors or G1, which actually I was watching Super Juniors this year. She sat down to watch a little bit of it with me and was like, this is really good shit. We watched that Nick Wayne, Robbie Eagles match, and she was like, this is fantastic. So I might be able to get her like into the G1 too, and maybe Super Juniors. So I might have like a tournament buddy, but I'm not getting her to watch Wrestle Kingdom. Because she'll ask me like, what's the storyline here? And I'm like, I don't actually know myself. I just know that these two guys are going to put on a banger match. And
it's like without a storyline the storyline is that this is a tournament.
Yeah. That she can get with that. She can't get with like, hey, like I want to explain Okada Omega to you, but here you got to sit down and watch this 3-hour montage video to get it all, And
it's a big ask.
Yeah,
it's a big ask.
Yeah, especially when like a lot of the times the broadcasts that I have available to me of New Japan are strictly in Japanese, and I don't think she's with the Japanese commentating and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm not going to force the issue. So when I get like G1 or Super Juniors or something like that, and we've got American commentators or British commentators, she's in, but, and when there's names she recognizes, like in this case, like Nick Wayne and Takeshita and people like that are going to be at these tournaments, they're coming up.
I mean, if she knows one person, then she can root for that one person.
Mm-hmm.
So
and she doesn't root for Nick Wayne. She is just impressed with him, which is that is actually
that's a gateway. That's what that is.
Yeah, in itself, that's a turn in her fandom from pure good guy, bad guy shit to, this guy's a bad guy, but he's really good. Like she's starting to understand why we cheer people who we're supposed to hate, and then why they become faces, like afterwards.
Yeah.
But a lot of good shit like coming up. Like I couldn't be more hyped for All In, and I know they're somehow going to make me more hyped for All In. Like I am on the edge of my seat waiting for them to spoon feed me even more reasons to be excited about the show. Right.
Because I know it's coming.
Yeah.
Like I was excited from the moment I figured out that it was going to be Ospreay, finally winning the belt. Like I want to see that no matter who he faces, really. I want to see it. I want to see that crowd just erupt into elation. But now you've got other stuff. I mean, they really, really kicked it into third gear with this angle. To put him and Kenny across the ring from each other. And we will get to that not really directly, but soon. Very, very soon. But with that being said, we should get into it.
Yeah.
Let's talk Dynamite from Detroit, Michigan at the Masonic Temple. which is another very, very cool venue.
I have
Uh,
not been to a Masonic temple venue of any kind. Like the Masons build hella good venues. Like I
well,
know
they're
there's a lot
Masons.
of I know there's a lot of conspiracy theory people out there that are like, ooh, Masonic temple and try to put some kind of negative connotation on that. But like literally, Masons build the best buildings, and some of the
It's
Masonic temple
their entire
venues,
job.
yeah,
Like,
some of the venues built by the Masons, by Masonic temples that are Masonic temple venues, are some of the most fantastic, like structurally sound, but also like well laid out for events and stuff like that. Like
yeah.
they really know, especially, and I don't know what it is, but like their venues are super conducive to wrestling always. And
We have a Masonic temple not that far from where we live. I've never been inside, and now after seeing this venue again, I'm like, I want to look inside and see see what it's like, and see I'm not interested in Freemasonry, but like I'm interested in going to see the building.
talk to a Mason, they'll take you inside. As long as
Yeah.
there's not a ritual or meeting going on, they'll take you inside and show you.
Yeah.
I've been inside and seen a few of the domes and stuff. Like their domes, their stained glass domes that they have are some of the most immaculate shit I've ever laid eyes on. Like they're
It doesn't surprise me.
beautiful. They really are. Like, and I don't know any. I'm sure I know a few 33rd degree Masons or whatever, but I don't know any like none of them give me the conspiracy vibe. So I'm just like, hey, what's up, Tom? You know, like,
Yeah.
you know, so yeah, their buildings are immaculate and beautiful, and I can't say enough good things about them. So this venue, of course, is immaculate and beautiful, and I can't say enough good things about it. Like it was really well laid out for this show. The hard camera, even being on the ramp side, didn't feel off. Being on the ramp side,
didn't.
Like felt like it was in the right place for once.
They figured it out.
Yeah,
they figured it out. Because now that they've run several of these buildings where the setup kind of has to be out of the ordinary from what they usually shoot, they've adapted, and I think that the show did not suffer from the weird kind of setup.
See, I think what I'm seeing, so because like WWE has that hard cam, they set everybody on hard cam side 1st. So like sometimes you've got a whole half of the venue that doesn't have anybody in it.
Yeah.
Tony Khan running these smaller venues and often getting sellouts or near sellouts. He's gone to a lot. What I noticed this week especially, he's gone to a lot of crane shots.
Yep.
And stuff like that. And
to show that it's a full building.
Yeah, and technically and moving the hard cam even like in a show. Like at one point the hard cam was, at the ramp when there was like a run-in happening, but then like when there was somebody in the ring doing a promo, the hard cam became the guy in the ring.
Yeah.
And like they switched the hard cam, which nobody has literally ever done that, switching the hard cam position in one show and making it where the hard cam fit the show and not the show fit the hard cam. And the only part where I can see that being a difficulty is that wrestlers, we train to work hard cam, and everybody puts the hard cam in the same place. Everybody. And we train hard cam. So like I could see the wrestlers being like, shit, where's it at? But other than that, like I love the way they're producing these shows. It separates their production so much from WWE, especially now with WWE. Like, I hate to say it like this, but I'm gonna. But their show is it's become very like mid 80s Las Vegas gaudy, but also AI slop. And it just, I almost, my eyes are almost, especially with Raw because of all the red and stuff, my eyes are almost offended by I don't know. It feels also plastic. I don't know how to explain that. Like it feels also plastic to me. And the way that Tony Khan and company are doing this now feels so organic and real and
fresh. Yeah.
And it's just different. And I love the way they're doing it, man. Like they're really on point. Like their storytelling, the music department, the production, everybody's super on point right now. Like we talk about it a little bit later at the end of the show, but like I really don't think there is a time where anybody's been hitting on all cylinders like this.
Yeah, it's
Just everything's so good, you know. Like,
yeah. In any case,
Mhm.
that's enough talk about the building because we got to talk about the show.
Yeah.
Which, funnily enough, starts outside the building. Renee manages to get a hold of Will Ospreay and interview him, and we get like this scene of like this friggin' like. I thought that they were gonna just straight up jump him, like the Death Riders were waiting for Ospreay. And it was just it was very much a scene of like, oh, like this, if this was a movie, you'd be like, our protagonist is in a lot of trouble, but Mox gets in Osprey's face and kind of, oh well, first of all, Danny gets in his face and gets completely destroyed with a short range hidden blade, and he's just knocked loopy. And then Mox gets in his face. He holds Pac back, and he's like, "You sure you want to do this?" And Osprey's like, "You don't get to pull the trigger for me. I'm out." And like takes the Death Rider patch and like presses it right up on Mox's chest.
Yeah.
And Mox lets him go, kind of with like a smirk on his face, be like, you know, like the cat that ate the canary, like he knows something that Osprey doesn't. And then we get him a surprise Hangman appearance. People have been talking like what I find so funny is that like there was this debate on Blue Sky not that long ago about, you know, they brought him back for a show and then he hasn't been on TV for like 2 weeks. Like, what are they going to do? And then what people were brought up is like he said he had a pinched nerve or whatever the technical term is.
Mhm.
And I thought that the way that he delivered that news, that was a past tense thing, that he was over that he was diagnosed with that, and that he had dealt with that over the course of the preceding 3 months. And I was suspecting to believe that maybe I misinterpreted that, but I don't think so. I think I was right because he showed up here. I think they were just looking for a place to insert him, and he would show up later in the night to kind of establish where he's going. So I am taking a victory lap. Just saying. Like, I didn't say anything. I didn't start any fights on or engage in a conversation on Blue Sky. But I'm going to take a win because I didn't think that the people who were defending him in this way were correct.
Mhm.
And I'm just kind of glad that I think that I interpreted it correctly, because there are a lot of times where I do not, and I miss things, and I feel silly, and I have to humble myself about it. But this one, I think I got it right. So I'm going to take my victory lap right here, right now. That's me running around the track. That's me. There it is. But yeah, he basically says, look, you know, I know things are weird right now. You know, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I know how you feel. You know, you had my back last year. So far as I'm concerned, I've got your back. Whatever you need from me, I'm here for you. And Ospreay, understandably, is like, I can't really trust anybody but myself right now. I thought I could trust Kenny, and I couldn't. So with all due respect, I got to handle this on my own. And Hager's like, okay, well, if you need me, I'm here.
Yeah.
And that led right into the first match of the night. Andrade El Idolo's first national championship defense. He got the win here, which makes me really, really happy, but also like, okay, well, is he going to win his match next week? The national title is not on the line, but I know that Tony wants to get, with Tony putting that first defense in the bank so soon after he won it. It's like, okay, are we getting a short title reign or not?
Right. But yeah, now
he always gives them
one.
one. He always gives them one, with the exception of the dogs. The dogs, they didn't get one. That was a surprise. They won it, and then the next night they lost the trios belts.
That's because Gabe got hurt during the match, I think. So
yeah,
I think that was audible.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, Andrade's in the number one spot for the Casino Gauntlet match at Grand Slam. So, like, I don't know though. This match here, Nick Wayne continues to impress me. Jungle Jack Perry, really working his way up on my ladder, my personal ladder. But Andrade, man, he is so close to the top that him and like the top four other guys might as well be a human centipede. Like, it's just so close.
I think this match established what they're trying to do here. Andrade El Idolo is anchoring this division as the seasoned veteran, and he's going to work with the younger guys in the lower mid card and help to get them ready to climb up the ladder. And so whoever winds up beating him for the national title, I think, is going to be a guy like Nick Wayne. You know, somebody who's looking for their break, like maybe an Anthony Bowens.
Yeah,
you know, that kind of thing. I think that's where he's positioned right now. And I imagine that if history is any indication, he does what he's asked to do, and he doesn't complain about it, and he does whatever Tony Khan wants, Andrade will be rewarded by moving up the card.
Yeah.
Happened with Swerve. That's probably the biggest example.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Swerve took L after L after L. You know, he's in fact, he's not even, he was in both London All-Ins, and he didn't win either match that he was in.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're a good soldier, TK will eventually reward you. And I think that, you know, considering the gap between the national title level and the world title level, that this is a test. It's like, this is a small reward. Like, it's not like the tippy top or whatever. But you do this, and you work with this set of guys, and you work with them to the point where one of them is ready to step up into this role and be ready for it, which you really honestly are kind of overqualified for. That's when you'll get the push all the way up.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah,
this match also ruled.
Yeah, it rolled a lot. It was really good, man. It was really good. After that, we got the Brawling Birds backstage, and we are gonna get them and Divine Dominion at Wembley. They want to brawl.
They all but said it, yeah.
Yeah, and they're facing the Minions in training on Collision, which I did not know that Diamante was a Minion, and I don't happy.
Yeah, good for her. She works hard.
Yeah, I'm happy to see her back. We haven't seen her since the Mercedes Martinez stuff.
Yeah, I mean, apparently she's been in Ring of Honor. She's been a Minion for, I looked it up, she's been a Minion for almost a year.
Oh, shit.
And, like, I haven't even heard it until, like, this happened. And then I looked it up. So, since, like, she's been, I think it was, actually, I guess it's more like 8 months. I think it was December of last year that they added her to the little stable.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, faction.
Yeah.
It's not led by a manager. It's a faction. After
that, we got Renee
speaking
Paquette.
Of an actual stable.
Yeah, we got Renee Paquette backstage with Don Callis and Kyle Fletcher, and she's asking Don Callis about the trios matchup coming. But Kyle Fletcher jumps in. He reminds her that he won his match on Sunday. He didn't need anyone else's help. And Don Callis is like, well, sometimes you take losses, and Mark Davis is angry. Kevin Knight said he didn't need family, but Callis says, you know, we all need our family. And the sky is still the limit for Kevin Knight, even though I think we have firmly established the limit for Kevin Knight.
So far.
And
at least for currently, now. Yeah. He can, there's always the potential that he I mean, who knows what the ceiling is? Like there's levels to this. Literally, he's
Yeah.
at a certain level. He'll break through that. He'll be at another higher level. He'll break through that, or he won't. And you'll find out where his ceiling actually is.
Yeah. But with that, with Don Callis saying, he lost, Kevin Knight's like, well, I hate to lose, but what if Kyle loses it at Arena Mexico? Because him and Speedball are 1-1, and he's talking like he's up on Speedball.
Yeah.
And kind of to the irritation of Don and Kyle, and then Okada comes in. And he's like, Kyle's right. The international championship will always stay in the family, as if he's going
Very
to be the one to
vague.
take it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very vague and non-committal
Mhm.
and open to interpretation.
But yet more cracks in the Don Callis family forming. It looks like we might have like a 3-way crack going between Kevin Knight and Kyle Fletcher and Okada, which lots of weird potential for fractures in that also.
Yes,
so,
for sure.
but then after that, we've got Brodito and Speedball against Kyle Fletcher, Brian Cage, and Jake Doyle. And man, this was a lot of fun too. Brian Cage continues to impress the fuck out of me, despite I'm already impressed by him.
Yeah.
Like, he took like the brunt of everything in this match and also handed out some really great offense. But like this match centered around him. I think he was probably calling most of it as a ring general within this group, even though, because I mean, if you look at that group, Brian Cage probably is the most tenured veteran of these 6 guys.
Very likely.
So I'm assuming that he was probably doing most of the calling, and that's why he was kind of a centerpiece of this match.
Yeah.
But Speedball and Brodito still pick up the win, and my God,
there was a meat chance.
A lot of fun. Yeah, they had a meat
chance with I think it was Doyle and Brody.
Yeah.
I want my meat match, Tony. Give me my meat madness match.
Oh God, I need meat madness. I can't believe we have not revisited this concept yet with all of the huge meaty dudes. And now they're bringing Nick Camarado back. Like, come on, man. Like, just give me.
We went over this last season. Like, we already have blueprints for this. Just take our blueprint. Don't if it works, Tony, consider hiring us. Yeah, I don't know. We got ideas.
Yeah, maybe give us a little call, little ringy ring,
little call,
little clicky email, like something, just, little write a check. But yeah, I mean, these guys, I thought the match was really good. We're Speedball and Fletcher had their.
Yeah, they kind of had a stare down. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they kind of had a stare down. Yeah, because Speedball won and Fletcher was trying to get back in the ring and he missed it.
Speedball jinxed himself by touching the belts.
Yeah, he did do that, didn't he?
Yeah, like that's a big tell. Like, okay, well, I mean, I kind of figured it anyway, but like, yeah, don't do that. Like, be self-aware, Speedy.
Yeah, right. After that, we've got a sit down with Renee Paquette and the Young Bucks and Cage and Cope. And at the beginning of it, the Young Bucks were just talking up how great Cage and Cope were and how much of legends they were. But I think it looks like Christian Cage took some, issue with that because he had to remind them, like, hey, like we are the tag team champions, like, this isn't a retirement run.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, we may be legends, but that doesn't mean that we're in the past.
Yeah, and
that kind of thing.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah, it was a good tete-a-tete. Matt does most of the talking for the Bucks because he always does. He's always been the better talker. Like Nick is good for his little like kind of one-liners and whatnot, but it's usually Nick or Matt doing the explaining. He says, we had to go harder, faster. We had to just, we never did anything by the book necessarily. We changed the game. You changed the game, and then we changed the game. So, Cope was a bit more, I guess diplomatic is a good way of putting it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Cage was, far more standoffish. Their usual dynamic anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was already looking forward to this. I'm still kind of disappointed we didn't get our TLC homage, but I want this too. I want this singles match as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll take it. And I'm more excited for it now than I was before this. So yeah, did its job.
Yeah. After that, we have a TBS Championship match. Maya World in her first defense against our CMLL World Women's Champion Persephone. I thought this needed more time. I think this might have actually been the shortest match on this particular show. And
maybe it did get a commercial break in it at least, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm also taking a little bit of issue with trotting out the CMLL Women's World Champion and having her take so many L's. She is the women's champion. She is a women's world champion of a major company.
Yeah, but at least at this point, there was a lot of chicanery.
Yeah, there was in this one. Yeah,
Sheeta came out with a kendo stick to try and get Maya World behind the ref's back. And then Statlander, who hasn't been seen, I don't think, since the Survival of the Fittest match, showed up out of nowhere, just materialized out of the ether, and neutralized that threat. And the distraction led Maya to be able to land the bridging fallaway slam for the win. I like the move. I'm not big on it as a finish because it doesn't seem to have like a ton of impact.
I said that exact thing at the end of this match when I watched it. I was like, I like that move, but it's just I need her to have a little bit more of an impactful finisher.
Yeah.
And she definitely could have a more impactful finisher. She is not incapable. So
you know what she should do if she's capable of it? Have it be a series of 3 with the last one being the bridge.
Yeah. Like flip over and pull her back up, like deadlift.
Yeah.
Yeah, just something to make it just it's not a bad move. It just needs to be more impressive if that's going to be your finish,
Or maybe like do it as like a Spanish fly deal, with the scoop position.
Yeah.
Instead of the head and arm position, you could do like 2 back flipping, like standing body slam Spanish flies into the bridging fall away.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I mean,
if I had to throw my 2 cents in.
Yeah, I mean, the match was still good, but yeah, lots of outside interference. Maya does pick up
Persephone
the win,
is great.
Yeah, she is.
She's I think she's going to be somebody to watch in the coming year. I think she's taking her L's now, but I think that she's going to be one of those swerve cases where she takes the L's. She's a good soldier, and then eventually, she's going to become a cornerstone of that division.
Yeah. After that, we've got Mark Davis talking about how he suffered a personal embarrassment losing the national championship, and that he wants Will Ospreay 1-on-1 in Grand Slam Mexico. And
no family, no family, just 1-on-1, no outside interference, etc. He's just going to beat the hell out of him. And
sorry, Mark, it's not going to go that way for you, bud.
No,
you're going to get you're probably going to get beat up by Will Ospreay.
Probably.
Because he is in the main event at Wembley, and unfortunately, you aren't. So that's just the way the.
Sorry, bruv.
Yeah, that's just the way the biscuit crumbles, as you might say.
See what you did there.
After...
Next is Willow Nightingale's championship celebration. Normally, I feel like a babyface title celebration is kind of like it's a little too like babyfaces shouldn't be so like self-congratulatory, but it's Willow who A deserves it, and B cut just the most heartwarming, believe in yourself promo. It was, I think it was definitely her best mic work that I've seen.
My
She
wife
was so sincere here. I was nearly brought to tears.
my wife clipped it to
Yeah.
send to me when I'm having a bad day.
Yeah.
And I think that says pretty much everything I need to say about her program.
Yep. I do wonder if Warrior Princess is going to get over.
Probably.
I mean, we know her mom Jill is over.
Yeah.
She shouted out her mom, and this whole place. By the way, Detroit was awesome. Both
Dude, God,
nights.
weren't they? Yeah.
Incredible crowd.
Shout out Detroit for being like the killer crowd, man.
Hell awesome. Yeah. Like this was one of the best crowd weeks I think they've had all year. And that's coming from somebody who was at Double or Nothing. So, like, that means something. They were hot throughout the whole show, both shows, both days. And this was another, they chanted for her mom, for believing in her. They chanted Warrior Princess because that's what Willow said that Jill had called her. I'm wondering if maybe that's a thing they're going to try and get the rights to now. I don't know who owns Xena, but they may make a deal there.
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, this was just really, really heartwarming stuff. And then Mercedes came out, and she, to her credit, she was just all business. She was like, just please sign the contract. Like, I don't want to stay in here any longer than I have to. And then she was kind of goaded into saying more.
Yeah. Because the crowd literally chanted, "Shut the fuck up" at her, which does not happen very often. There were visible CE no signs in the crowd here. Detroit does not like Mercedes.
There were a couple people who were still chanting CEO and stuff like that. I saw a couple signs, but yeah, almost overwhelmingly in Willow's corner.
Yeah.
Who wasn't in Willow's corner though? It was Divine Dominion, who came in up, and there were streamers everywhere from the celebration. They just kind of came up through wearing hockey jerseys, and it kind of undercuts the whole like Greek goddess thing to be wearing hockey jerseys, doesn't it?
Yeah, and still wearing the headdress, like.
Yeah. But yeah, she's they beat them down. But Brawling Birds came out for the save eventually. And that'll lead to that led to the booking of the trios match that we're gonna have this Wednesday.
I think it's important to mention here that we really got the Mercedes story that's going to be built for All In. You have taken everything from me, and now I'm going to take everything from you. However, I would be remiss if I said that this was not the perfect opportunity for Tony Khan to not let Mercedes take everything from Willow. I would really prefer it if she won it All In.
Yeah, we've already gone over this in previous episodes. I think it's kind of dumb to retread the way that Mercedes won the TBS title by taking it off of Willow, who's only had it for a month. Like, I don't want to repeat that. I absolutely think that Mercedes should and will. It's an inevitability. Will win that belt eventually.
Yeah.
There is an argument that it should be on this big stage. I think because of if the roles were reversed and Willow was the challenger and Mercedes was defending, I would say let Mercedes win. But because it's the other way around, no, let Willow get the dub.
Yeah.
Let Willow get the dub. Can you imagine, like, if England reacts the way they do to Bayley because of how her character was portrayed? Can you imagine the serenade they're going to give Willow?
Yeah.
They're going to come up with something that we've never heard of, that's going to stick with her for the rest of her career. I all but guarantee it.
Yeah, they're gonna sing some crazy chant for her. I already know it.
Yeah, I'm so excited to hear what they come up with because
there's
so
like
much
5 dudes writing chants right now, and they are gonna have the crowd going.
Yeah, they probably have some like enormous Discord for wrestling fans. Like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, and through the week heading up to it, we're all gonna practice this. Okay,
right.
Continental title match was up next. Moxley defends against Commander.
I loved this. This was my favorite match on Dynamite this week.
This was great. Like,
yeah,
it was great big man, little man stuff. You know, we forget, you know, because John Moxley, you know, is in there with guys that are a lot bigger than he is a lot of times, simply because of the nature of wrestling. It attracts a lot of big dudes. But, like, that dude's like legit 6'3", 6'4". And Commander is maybe 5'10". Like,
yeah.
He's probably closer to 5'9", if I had to guess. And what, 180, soaking wet.
Mm-hmm.
And the decision to, you know, choke him out. Like, for a character like John Moxley, if he's choking you out, he means he really wants to put you away because you've annoyed him in some capacity. He doesn't usually submit guys unless they've annoyed him. Like, it's a lesson from him if he's choking you out, generally speaking. So, this is great. Like, I think Commander has been on, even with all these losses that he's taking, he's been on a real roll since coming back from injury. And I think that he's another project of Tony's. I think, in fact, it would not surprise me if he was the guy to eventually take the national title. Like, I think he's going to eat the pin on Wednesday. Don't get me wrong. I think that's why he was added to the match. But I think he's a strong candidate for being the one to dethrone Andrade for the national title in what you would need to probably consider an upset.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's got as good a shot as anybody right now. I mean,
yeah.
After that, we go backstage. We got Mick Foley on Dynamite now, which is awesome.
Yeah.
More Mick Foley.
I didn't anticipate seeing him on the weeklies. That's great.
Yeah. And, the Bang Bang Gang, Jay White missing. Not sure why.
Yeah.
Hopefully not a problem.
Hopefully not a real life problem.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been rumors that he got re-injured, but nothing to substantiate them yet. So
I hope not, man. We were missing him for too long already, man. Like, no.
Yeah, to get re-injured this soon after his comeback would be a huge bummer. But you know me, like, I'm not like super Mr. Jay White guy. I absolutely see value in him, but I'm not like his biggest cheerleader or whatever. So
yeah,
but that would still be a bummer because honestly, the Bang Bang Gang is better when he's there leading that.
Yeah, but
it is better.
Yeah, but with that said, Colton, the Guns and Juice Robinson are calling out the Dogs and the Death Riders to face them on Collision tomorrow night. So. And then they're like, if you don't like that, we got 2 words for you. And Mick Foley's like, bang, bang. Which Colton Gunn nixed and then said guns up, but he should have just went with bang, bang.
He's like,
they are the Bang Bang Gang.
He's like, all due respect, Mick. Any other time I'd be with you. But in this case, we got to stick to our guns up, basically.
Yeah. They should just go ahead and ask Mick Foley, like, we're the Bang Bang Gang. Can we say bang, bang? Is that cool with you? Because I'm sure he would say yes, and then they could just be like bang bang, you know, and
just make him an honorary member.
Yeah, like, you totally could because he is the Bang Bang guy, you know, like he could be part of the Bang Bang Gang. And then anytime anybody fucks with Mick Foley, They get the fuck with the Bang Bang Gang, and I
Yeah,
love when those guys run out and start beating people up. I love it. Juice Robinson is an absolute fucking madman. He's one of my favorite people on these shows.
he absolutely every single time he's out there, he forces you to pay attention to him
Yes,
because he's so weird and wild and chaotic.
and amazing,
And
and
he looks
beautiful.
like the honeycomb
Like,
gremlin.
he does, he does. But I don't hate like complimentary. You know,
Yeah,
like
sure.
I don't hate the guy. Like I think he's fantastic. He's I'm a big Macho Man guy, and he is everything I want in like
I mean,
a
it's
spiritual successor.
very clear that he's a huge influence on Juice too.
Yeah, yeah, and I love it. I love it. If I can't have the real thing, I got Juice Robinson, and I'm okay with
Yep.
that. Actually, you know. So after that, we have what is actually our main event for the evening, though it's not even near the end of the show. Um, the show
It's the main
overran.
event match.
Did this show overrun an hour? Was I wrong about this? I feel like
it was like a half an hour. It was like a good half hour.
yeah,
over.
it overran a while.
This match started at around quarter of 10 of. Like I was like, they're not going to shorten this.
No, they're not,
So,
and they didn't, and it was worth it. And we immediately okay. Guess what? Remember what I told you last week? It's not
what happened?
it's not problematic for the Samoan head thing to be a thing.
Yeah,
And they immediately hit Toa Leona in the head, like trying to ram his head into the turnbuckle. And he just looks at Orange Cassidy like, "Are you dumb?" And then slams his own head into the turnbuckle like 7 times.
Yep.
Like immediately. As soon as the match started, I was like, I wonder if they're going to do that problematic thing. And then immediately. And I was like, God damn.
This match went exactly as I thought it would. I called this last week to a T. I called that the Lethal Twist was going to get involved and that it would lead to the Demand winning.
Yeah.
Want that on the record. This one I managed to get pretty much 100% accurate.
Right.
And you know what? Good for them. Specifically GOA. Like, God, they deserved this for a long time. Honestly.
Yeah.
It's good to see. I am worried that they're just going to drop the trios belts now, though, to
I
a
really
team that
hope
we'll get
not.
to later.
I really hope not.
It would be a really, because of who it is, it could be a really cool moment in Mexico.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like
we'll get there in a second, though, because
this will be the second time they did that to somebody. You know.
Yeah. What we need to do before that, though, is talk about Kenny Omega addressing redemption and Will Ospreay immediately interrupting him, because if we're going to have a talking segment, I want them to be like this talking segment. Clearly laid out how each of those guys felt, their motivations, their stories, their perspectives, in a way that you could choose to side with either one of them without feeling like you're rooting for a heel or rooting for the bad guy. Like, each one of them is perfectly justified in their own perspectives on how they look at this. Kenny Omega is like, look, basically he's like, oh, I heard that you came out to help me, and I felt your presence, and then you took just so long, and then I saw you with the remnants of the bag. You considered it, didn't you? You considered actually, suffocating me with that bag, didn't you? And honestly, from his perspective, being unconscious on the mat and waking up and it taking as long as it did, yeah, that's a reasonable thing to assume coming from that position. And then Ospreay's like, no, man, I just, I never would have done that. I was just, I was wrestling with the idea of what it would mean to turn my back on these guys who, even though I don't share a philosophy, have really, really helped me over the last several months, both physically and emotionally. Like, it was a difficult decision to make. It was the right decision to make. And I gave you the belt back. Like, it wasn't even a thing. Like, it wasn't a thing that crossed my mind. I understand that. Like, there have been times in my life where I have relied on somebody and then they let me down, and I realized that I couldn't hang out with them anymore. I couldn't justify being in their presence anymore, and I had to make the hard decision, and I did. And that annoyed and alienated other people as a result. So I get it. I get both of these guys' motivations, and I love that they're coming at this from this nuanced angle.
Mm-hmm.
Because like neither one of them is a heel. They're both baby faces. Neither one of them is a heel, but each one of them is justified in their own way, and they are trusting the audience to who they're going to root to leave up to them who they're going to root for. And I imagine that in Britain it's probably gonna be more siding with Ospreay, but I don't think Omega is gonna get booed just for being in the match.
No.
If they start booing him because they've sided with Ospreay and they've decided to do that, then Omega might lean into it and insert more heel actions into his work in the match. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that he's gonna have heel heat coming into it.
No, I don't think so. But
they'll cheer him on his entrance. They just won't cheer him as hard as they will Ospreay by a long shot.
Yeah. But at this point, Omega unleashes the friendship-ending slap. He might as well have spit on him.
Oh yeah.
He just slaps him, and
over and over again.
Over and over. I'll always be better than you. Just But I love the response here because Ospreay slaps him back, goes for the hidden blade. Kenny ducks out the way and ends up on the ground, and he's like, how much I love and respect you, but if you put your hands on me, I'm gonna kick the shit out of you.
Yep.
A very me response, which put me very on the side of Will Ospreay in this one, because I'm like, look, man, they were just talking. Yeah, they were yelling, but they were getting their feelings out. Kenny Omega opened up the physicality here. And Ospreay let him know under no circumstances, you will not put your fucking hands on me.
Yeah.
Because I will beat the shit out of you. And I love it. I love it. This shit was so intense that I was just like, this is just.
Yep. Omega then leaves the ring, and Ospreay, and I didn't notice this at first. I only noticed it when it was brought up online. He mirrors the promo. I think it was from 2022 after Mox had come back from his stint in rehab.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was, and he was it was shortly after that, but it was actually, I think, in the wake of him winning the interim world title, but when Punk got hurt. He cut a promo where he said, the ace wants the ball. Doesn't matter. The ace steps up and he wants the ball. I want to be that. Give me the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And Ospreay mirrored that here, nearly word for word from that promo. And I didn't realize it until it was brought up online, because I don't have quite the memory for those particular things. But it's so fun because at the end of the day, it still kind of comes back to the fundamental difference between what Omega wants AEW to be and what Moxley sees it as.
Mm-hmm.
Those are his words. So there's still an influence that Moxley, despite the difference of opinion and philosophy here that led up to this moment between Ospreay and the Death Riders, there's still an influence that he has over Ospreay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was, in retrospect, an incredible detail to add.
Yeah. This shit is gonna be insane, man. I can't.
He says he's not gonna be like Moxley. He's not gonna take him out ahead of time. He's gonna pull the trigger, and Omega is gonna see it coming. And he won't be able to do anything about it.
Oh God, A+, epic level, classic. Classic.
I would much prefer a main event to be a match, but if you're gonna not have it be a match, it needs to be on this level.
Yeah.
It needs to do that. to justify it not being a match.
Yeah, this like, if wrestling was drugs, this Kenny Omega and Ospreay feud is Walter White's methamphetamine, dude. Like
Yep.
this shit is just pure as can be, the best shit, Class A shit, man. Just beautiful shit. I couldn't. We fantasy book a lot on this show, but there's no way I could have written this better than that. Like it was just everything it needed to be, because what it did was put everybody kind of in a camp. Like, where are you in this camp? And you know, I know who I want to win now. I was having a really hard time figuring it out, but like Ospreay has too much of an attitude like mine. It's one of those things where you just, you know, you're attracted to and like the people that are like you, and Ospreay's just
funny. It's funny because like I know Ospreay is going to win. I feel that it's the right decision, that he should win, and they probably should have won it like last year. But at the same time, while I understand Ospreay's point of view, I still kind of side with Kenny, because like if that had been me, I would have been like, what the hell are you waiting for? And I would have been like, you know this. I've been beating this drum for months. What is he doing hanging around with those guys? He knows what those guys are all about.
Mm-hmm.
Him being a babyface and palling around with a guy that people kind of like now, despite the fact it doesn't change the fact that he tried to murder Bryan Danielson twice. Doesn't mean that he didn't hold, you know, the entire company hostage. He didn't break Isaiah Cassidy's arm, you know, on purpose. You know, like none of that takes away from the stuff that he did. And I've always questioned, like, unless you're planning on using it to turn on Moxley and the Death Riders, what are you doing hanging around with them? What are you doing? Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of, from a philosophy standpoint, I see his point of view, but I more agree with Kenny. Mm. That said, I mean, from a booking standpoint, Ospreay is still obviously the choice.
Right.
I mean, it's in Wembley. He's waited. He's been with the company for 3 years now, which seems crazy to think it's been that long. Or this will be his third All Out at least. And no, wait, yes, third All Out. You do it here. Yeah. You don't know if you're coming back to Wembley. This is where you do it.
Yeah.
If they knew they were coming back, they would have announced it by now. So you do it here. Yeah. This is the place. This is the time. So, yeah. I'm not disputing that. I think it's the absolute 100% right call. In terms of motivation, though, I'm in Team Kenny Can.
Yeah. So that was a great Dynamite episode, especially ending with that. It was just the perfect way to end. Really great episode. And then we go over to Collision from Thursday night this week, and another live show. But was it live or was it filmed the same night? Okay,
it was live.
Okay, so but still another killer crowd, same building. I think they're probably a lot of the same crowd from the night before. Honestly, because it didn't look like a lot of the people's seats had changed. Like they were selling 2 shots or something.
It probably got all their tickets at the same time.
Yeah. So. But we kick off Collision with, I called it, Motor City Machine Guns in Detroit are now all elite. And they are all elite. This isn't just a...
I want to make... that the Motor City Machine Guns hadn't shown up until after the show had ended.
Yeah.
And I wasn't disappointed by the show for the lack of it, since I knew they were going to be here the next day. It's like, oh, okay. And that's smart too. You get people to think that they're showing up on Dynamite. You run the same venue 2 different nights, and you do it on the second night to make sure that any stragglers who didn't show up on Dynamite show up, because they think, okay, now the Machine Guns have to show up.
Yeah.
Smart.
And they showed up immediately. And yeah, they're all elite, man. Like that's all we need to know. They're part of the tag division in All Elite Wrestling now, and shit just got turned up. It's about to get turned up even harder, but boy, does this turn up the heat in that division. Like, holy one established legendary fucking tag team. Like, especially these two guys. Like, these guys can really go, man. And I think like a lot of people have their big, a lot of people's big exposure to them was their time recently in WWE, but they did not get to show their ability there the way they will be able to now. It's going to change a lot of minds who only
hugely influential tag team in mostly TNA, but also places like 01. Like just they're probably almost as influential as the Young Bucks, but in a much quieter way.
Yeah.
It's like they're influential like the way that the Brainbusters were influential. A lot of guys take from their stuff, but it's not like Tully and Arn were like big and flashy and like huge characters or whatever. So the fans don't remember them as much. But the workers, the guys in the business who study from other tag teams, they take from that.
Yeah.
That's the kind of role I feel like the Motor City Machine Guns probably have.
Oh yeah, they're probably your favorite tag team's favorite tag team.
Yeah, that would be the way to put it.
Yeah, they're over with the boys real hard. But yeah, they're over. They're going to be a hell of an addition to this tag team division. I can't wait to see where we're going with them first. I can't wait. Dude. Like, it's going to be awesome. After that, we got our demands for so they got a trios championship match and got a defense. Too bad it's against the Rascals. But the Rascals really showed out in this match too. Like, they had a hell of a match with the demand. Like, I like that we're putting a lot more focus on the trios division in this way. I know eventually the Rascals will probably be trios champions, but I'm still not really a fan of kind of turning them jobber right now.
Like they were hot for like the first 2 or 3 months, and then they lost their tag team title shot against FTR, and it's been nothing but skid marks from that point. They've been done like nothing but lose from that point on.
Yeah, so we'll see how they can get a turn up, but like, the fact that GOA and Ricochet got their defense here. Yep. I'm wondering if maybe they get to keep their titles on Wednesday.
That's what I was saying. We'll get that. That's a little bit later, though. That's in a backstage segment that we haven't got to yet. That said, this match was predictably very great. Just too many high spots to call. But man, like, Total Leona was on another level in this. He was he was intense even for him in this match. He was running all over the place, just throwing headbutts and all this other stuff. It made me think, it's like, well, maybe they're just trying to get all their stuff in now because they know they won't be able to later.
Yeah.
Like looking back on it, I don't know. But Total Leona and Bishop Khan hit open the gates on Desmond Xavier for the win. So it was cool to see that they won the belts with Ricochet using the Spirit Gun, but that the GOA were able to get the pin, the last move in the pin here.
Yeah.
So like I feel like that's healthy. If you're building a trios team, you can't just rely on the one guy all the time. Like, there's no point in that.
Yeah. The next couple of segments, we got some news about our Continental Cup, which was kind of announced last week, but then kind of not really given a lot of detail about. And this week we find out that this is like a single elimination 16-man tournament that starts on Collision.
Like this week.
This week on Collision is what it says. Yeah.
The wrinkle though is that you win your match, and then your name gets put back in the hat, and your next opponent is randomly selected instead of being in brackets where your opponent ahead of time. Nobody knows their opponents ahead of time in this. They're all randomly selected, so-called. And then when you win, you get put back in the hat and you have another random match.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
I like that a lot. Apparently it takes some inspiration from some of the stuff they do in soccer.
Mhm.
I'm not
Yeah,
a
it's
soccer fan,
a
so
round draw. So like, you ever seen Green Street Hooligans?
no.
Oh, okay. First of all, watch that amazing movie. Elijah Wood and Charlie Hunnam, probably 15, 20 years old now, but amazing,
Oh wow.
amazing fucking
Okay.
movie. That's how I got turned on to Charlie Hunnam. Before he was a guy in Guy Ritchie movies, and before he was Jax Teller on Sons of Anarchy, he was um, a hooligan, a soccer hooligan in this movie called Green Street Hooligans, and he's one of them. He's like the main character, and him and Elijah Wood like share the co-leads, and it's amazing. It's amazing. You will cry. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, that's how I knew what a soccer draw was, because they're like, there's a scene in the movie where they're sitting around and they're doing the championship tournament draw, basically, which is where the teams find out in a round who they're facing for that round. And like the hooligans are like waiting on them, and they draw their like main rival city. So the two clubs are playing each other, and then the two hooligan groups are going to fight.
Okay.
So it's like, but yeah, every round of the tournament, they draw who the opponents are for the tournament. So like, they'll pick a name out of a hat and be like, in this case, it's West Ham versus Millwall. And then they'll pick two more names, and that's the next two. And then every round, yeah, right back into the hat, and they draw again. And so, yeah, I love it. I love that we've never done this in a tournament before. I love it. I love new shit.
I don't think I've ever seen this in a wrestling tournament ever.
Yeah.
So that's really cool, and it ups the unpredictability factor. Although I do think I know the final, because they were teasing it.
What do you think?
Well, here's the thing. Several names were thrown into the Continental Cup. They're throwing their names in. And obviously, you're not going to do this and not have Moxley reach the finals.
Yeah.
I think with it being in England, I think it's him and Nigel McGuinness.
I mean, it's possible.
Threw his hat in the ring. Later on, Moxley would join the commentary table and act all like, "Oh, I didn't even know that this thing was a thing," because that's who Jon Moxley is. He's just completely unbothered. It's kind of annoying that he doesn't even care to like. He cares about it when he's in the ring, but he doesn't like care about it, like leading up to it. Like, he's just his character is just like completely unbothered. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's kind of annoying. Like, you don't even like. And it's supposed to be hypocritical because he's hypocritical. Like, he's all about. In the same breath, he'll say that the Death Riders do what we need to do to win, and then in the next breath he'll say, that's why I love the Continental title, is because it's just me and another guy. It's like, when the title isn't on the line, you welcome help from the outside to help you cheat. Like, don't give me this I love this man-on-man stuff. You only like it because you get to beat up guys lower on the card for you for almost easy wins, almost guaranteed wins. You're padding your record, bro. Like, that's the subtext of his character in this title reign.
Padding the record.
Yeah. Like, his defenses on the pay-per-views are against guys of main event level caliber, but the in-between guys, like no disrespect to Commander, but like he's getting a little bit of a push, but I think you would have to consider him a lower mid-card guy, because of how often he loses, not because of his talent level,
right?
But just his positioning on the card. It's like there's not a world where I could see Commander beating Jon Moxley for a Continental title on a random Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And Moxley's got to know that. Like he's looking for those easy dubs that MJF always talks about. Yeah. So like his character is clearly a hypocrite. And this is just like another one of those ways that it leans into that hypocrisy. It's like, oh yeah, no, I care so much about wrestling, but I don't care enough about it to know anything about the tournament that I'm in, or who's declared for it. Like, oh, well, it's because it doesn't matter. I'll beat him anyway. It's like, no, that's not it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we got McGinnis in there. We got O'Reilly, Strong, Orange Cassidy, John Moxley. I can't remember if there's any other names thrown in there, but those are the ones I know for sure.
I didn't remember any other names other than those 5.
Yeah. So we got 11 more to be announced, I guess. Probably before, probably at Dynamite, we'll probably get the full
list of participants.
Full list, yeah.
Since there won't be brackets.
Yeah, there won't be like brackets, yeah. After that we have, do you think this is the Condor or the other one? Because they were both pretty.
It's the other one.
It's the other one? Okay.
Because Camarado at least get here against. I love that they're doing that. It's consistency in storytelling, and it gives Camarado something to attack. He bashes him in the head a couple of times and throws him outside the ring. He poses, but that gives Tommaso a little bit of time to collect himself and get really, really, really angry, and he just destroys Camarado as soon as he enters the ring.
Yeah.
Hits him with the running knee with the pad lowered, and it's done.
Yeah. After that, we got Hangman Adam Page backstage. He's saying he wants something else to do, and Brody King shows up and thanks him for having his back last night. And then Bandito comes over and he offers his own thanks, but then Page is like, I'm trying to figure out what to do. But next week AEW's in Mexico City, so maybe I should team with Brodito, and we'll take on the Trios champions. And they call themselves the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and I don't know which one is which because I've never seen Bandito's face.
You have to assume he's the ugly one then. He's the one hiding his face.
Yeah, I'm assuming.
It's
well,
Bobby
he did tell.
It's Bobby Heenan logic.
Yeah, well, he did tell RJ City on AEW that he was ugly under there. So. And
I
RJ City was.
Don't believe that.
I don't fucking believe it for a second. No,
I don't either.
But he did say that, so it is lore in AEW that he is the ugly one. So,
although they did the funny bit where they imply that Brody's the ugly one because Brody's like, well, which one of us is the ugly one? And they ignore him and walk away. Which one of us is the ugly one? And
I saw so many lady sickos on Blue Sky this week going, Brody is not the ugly one. But due to the nature of who the other two guys are, they will not say who the ugly one actually is.
Yeah.
So, but they're like, but they're also like, Brody's not ugly, and I'm like, well, I mean, okay, look, I know that all of you ladies love Hangman. Okay, don't play with me. Some of us dudes love Hangman. All right.
Yeah.
Nobody's seen Bandito's face, but I'm positive he's probably just too handsome to not wear a mask.
Probably.
But Brody King's not an ugly guy. So I'm like, fuck, man, I'm not going to press this issue. Okay. Like, nobody's ugly here. But yeah, so we've got a trios match. We got the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly versus the Demand. And I am genuinely worried whether the Demand will keep their title.
Yeah. I mean, it's in Mexico with the Demand's opponents are a Mexican national, a guy who wore an Abolished Ice t-shirt the last time they were in Mexico, and the guy who cut the entire promo, like a 10-minute promo in Spanish in Arena Mexico the time they were there, to the point, and it was so popular because of it that CMLL was practically begging AEW to let him come to CMLL if he wanted to.
Yeah.
I think so far as, I mean, it might be, I would say it's even money conservatively.
Fair enough.
Like, but if I had to guess, given that the man had an immediate title defense the next night and were victorious, and that's TK's plan, is to like not make any of his champions look fluky, if at all possible, in any given circumstance, by giving them at least one successful defense of their title before they lose it. My heart's saying that the good guys win in Mexico.
Yeah, maybe, dude. Maybe. I don't know. I hope so though, kind of, but I kind of don't. Like, I don't know. This is a hard one.
I mean, I want good things for Hanger, but like GOA, like
I want good things for them too.
I know. I would be heartbroken if it was just like this. Maybe they win it back at All In though. Like,
maybe,
you don't know. I mean, that's not a bigger. I would say it's a bigger stage at All In to win a belt there because of just how huge it is and how many eyes are going to be on it in person.
Yeah.
But for what it would mean to the people in Mexico for Brodito and Hanger to win it, that may be a bigger deal to that audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe that's what you do. You do that, and then you have it switch back at All In.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens, I guess. Speaking of trios matches, though, we've got Hazuki and the Brawling Birds versus Athena and the MIT.
Honestly, I thought this was match of the night.
This was my favorite match of this show. Yeah,
this was great. This was never lacking in energy. Everybody did a great job of staying relevant and keeping the chaos. I mean, at one point the chaos spilled all the way out to the ramp, all the way up to the stage. Mm-hmm. Like, it was, everybody got something in. Like, it was great. I loved it. The ending was a little bit twitchy, but at the end of the day, it was a great match. Diamante, probably pretty predictably took the pin here when they hit the heart attack. Damn it!
The two birds, one stone.
Yeah, I'll admit it's a clever name, but to me, that move is always going to be the heart attack.
Yeah. Afterwards, though, Divine Dominion comes down and grabs the Brawling Birds and then power bombs them on the top of the stage.
Yep.
While Athena taunts Hazuki in the ring. I didn't actually see how Hazuki went down, so
I didn't either.
I'm assuming
I know throughout the entire match they were saying that Hazuki, they were really pushing for the idea of Hazuki to get a world title shot against Athena. So maybe that's what we get at what's the next one? Death Before Dishonor?
Death Before Dishonor, I think, is the next one. Yeah. So, but yeah. After that, what is a Detroit wrestling show if you don't have Rhino and ICP? A wrestling show is not Detroit. I'm sorry, it's just not Detroit.
Wrestling show is not Detroit. Yeah. I expected to see ICP there because the day prior, they were doing some press beforehand, and they were getting interviewed by Lexi and everything. I don't know why I was surprised to see Rhino there, but it was I shouldn't have been surprised, but it was great to see him. I love Rhino.
I think this was the best possible way to use ICP because you just had him come out and do the ice bucket challenge and didn't give anybody a hot mic. Because still, even in like their 50s, you don't want to give one of those guys a hot mic.
Yeah,
because they'll probably say something dumb and then have to apologize for it. Not that they're bad people. They come from a different era, just like we do.
And to their credit, they are people who tried to improve themselves too. They try to learn from their mistakes. Like I genuinely, I don't particularly care for their music, but I do genuinely think that Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope are decent people. They're decent, good folk.
From everything I hear, yeah. Like I don't really enjoy their music anymore, but I'm in my 40s.
I do question their association with Vince Russo. That I question.
Well, I think, I don't know. I feel like at some points in the wrestling business, it's inevitable that you run into that asshole. So, I mean, but
how can somebody get so far in wrestling when you when the part about wrestling you hate the most is the
Is the
wrestling.
wrestling? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't understand.
Yeah. After that, though, we've got our previously mentioned match of the Bang Bang Gang, Austin and Colton, Ace Austin and Juice Robinson versus the Death Riders, John Moxley, Pat, Claudio, and Wheeler Yuta. And the Bang Bang Gang won?
Yeah, I was surprised there. By a lot, quite a bit actually. I'm wondering if maybe, I mean, this has to be to continue. Like the only reason that they would book the baby faces to win here is so that the heels could, as they did, beat them up afterwards and continue the feud.
Yeah, but they were actually saved by the Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah.
And then the Motor City Machine Guns were in turn saved by the Guns. I actually think this is how they make it even. There's so many Death Riders and you got the two dogs. Well, now there's so many Bang Bang Gang guys and you've got the two Motor City Machine Guns who, you know, I mean, kind of fit right into the theme.
They do.
And I'm not mad at it. I don't really want them to be part of the Bang Bang Gang, but they do fit the theme. And I'm not mad at them teaming temporarily to have this gang warfare fight. At all, especially because those guys look like they could be useful in gang warfare. I mean, look at them.
Yeah. Also, think about this: with groups this big, you could be up for another Stadium Stampede match in Wembley,
or a Blood and Guts.
Well, they'd have to bring the cage over.
Well, I mean, not at Wembley, maybe it All Out. You know?
Yeah.
Because this, I mean, if these guys are just now getting involved in it, just their very presence in this storyline could drag it on 2, 3, 4 more months. You know, I mean, it could really pad it up and make it go, you know, faster.
Yeah. Because I mean, if you assume that Jay White is at full strength, that's 5 members of the Bang Bang Gang plus the 2 Motor City Machine Guns. You've got all the Death Riders minus Moxley, which is 4 of them, and 3 dogs if Gabe Kidd comes back. So. You know, if Jay White is injured, maybe you hold off on Gabe Kidd to make it 6 and 6.
Yeah.
But to me that sounds like the makings of an Anarchy in the Arena match or a Stadium Stampede match.
Yeah. I'm with it though. Let's do it. Let's get it going.
Let's do it. I mean, we already had one, but who cares? Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first Anarchy or Stadium Stampede match that they've had at Wembley. So
that is if of course the Motor City Machine Guns aren't in some kind of multi-tag team match that we really hope happens.
I mean, you know, there's that possibility too. We'll see how this unfolds.
And FTR has been like missing for a minute. Like FTR has been gone for a little bit.
They are doing an independent show in England that week.
They're going to be back at All In, I bet then. Just why the hell would they book an independent show? Just a random one-off independent show in England? No, they're already being paid to be in England.
I mean, I'm not for schmaz endings at the biggest show of the year, but I would accept Cage and Cope and the Young Bucks to go to a no contest if it was at the hands of an FTR interference.
Yeah.
To set up the TLC match that we want.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could not even be a schmaz. Like, it could be Young Bucks and Cope and Cage are going out. FTR comes out to just try to ruin their time because they hate both of these guys. Yeah. And then, you know, maybe they're saved by the Motor City Machine Guns, and then maybe we get another heel tag team out there that's trying to start some shit, and then boom, the New Day shows up. That is, if they're not already advertised. And then basically that's all the tag teams right there. And then we're like, okay, all these motherfuckers are gonna be in a ladder match and All Out, you know, like,
right.
Let's do it, you know. But yeah, I mean, I'm anxious to see where this all goes. I want the Motor City Machine Guns to be part of this gang warfare thing, but I also want them to be part of the World Tag Team title scene. So, you know, like maybe the Guns too. I mean, like they haven't earned it, you know, like they've really, I mean, those guys are in the best shape they've ever been in an AEW, and also entertaining the fuck out of me week in and week out. So like, why not? You know, a lot of promise in the tag team division, even though it looks like the trios division is the one getting the attention right now. And I'm not opposed to that either. So,
I mean, New Day's coming.
Oh yeah, they're coming. They're coming.
Daybreak is probably
Yeah.
going to be their name.
The
You saw
shit
the
they
video?
did with
we should have talked about that in the opening segment.
the Big E part of that made me so fucking sad with the broken horn and he's still locked up and shit. Like, oh god, I was so sad about that.
Yeah.
Made me. It was
But it was heartwarming that he gave him a nod, gave him his blessing. Gave them his blessing to go.
Yeah.
You know, like it was. I wish, man, I really wish that never happened to Biggie.
I do too, and I really wish he could come with them to AEW because the one thing I would love to see more than the New Day win the tag team championships is the New Day win the trios championships.
Yeah.
With Big E. I don't know what the thing is. I mean, I honestly other people have had career-ending neck injuries and after enough time have been back. I don't know if that's going to be the case with him ever. I can only do what I've been doing this whole time and hope that is the case because I really like Big E. Like,
he's a likable person.
Yeah, he's just so fucking fun and such a great hand in the ring. And he just the way he looks, like, I mean, come on. Like, that guy could literally have been the world champion everywhere, not just WWE, you know? So, you know, but we got the New Day and that's a good start. After that, we've got our Condor, where Chris Statlander just beats the shit out of Aurora Tevis. Poor Aurora.
Yeah.
Just got the shit kicked out of her, man. Like, Statlander even hit her with a running boot to the face, like literally kicked the shit out of her.
It was, I mean, it was short and sweet. Reestablished Chris Statlander with another new theme. Maybe one of her old themes. Like, I don't know what's going on with her, but they need to figure out something and just stick with it.
Yeah.
Like it constantly seems that even though Statlander is always over because of her work and because the crowd knows her and, you know, has seen her grow and develop, and she's not quite but practically a day one, you know, AEW, you know, wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like she has this identity crisis where she like doesn't really know how to best present herself. Like, she's gotten by regardless for the reasons previously mentioned, but like it doesn't really seem like she has an identity so much, and she's still trying to nail it down. New music, new gear, where new pose, you know, new taunting pose, new whatever. It's like, and she never really sticks with one for too long. But it doesn't seem like it's a matter of, oh, they're tired of this one, you know, a Chris Jericho thing. Oh, they're getting tired of this one. I better switch it up. It seems like she feels like she doesn't know what she wants, or it's not working for her. Like, nothing seems to be working for her in her own mind.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I hope she figures it out.
Yeah.
But, it looks like she's going to be taking on Persephone this week in Mexico. I'm not... Is the belt on the line? The CMLL belt?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
If the belt is on the line, I don't see them changing champions. So Persephone will probably win, but I don't know. I don't even know how she's presented. Is she a Ruda in Mexico or not?
I think so, but I'm not sure. The way she acts, I would assume so. Yes.
But I mean,
don't know.
There's not necessarily consistency with how they're portrayed in CMLL versus how they're seen in AEW. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not
anyway,
sure.
Mike Bailey and Kyle Fletcher are backstage, right?
Yeah, they're backstage with Lexi Nair. and they're talking a little shit back and forth, and then Kyle Fletcher attacks Bailey and ends up throwing him out towards the ring, and they basically get to the ring and brawl a little bit.
And they have like a little mini 2-minute non-match.
Yeah, but Speedball tries to load up that time adventure a couple of times, and Fletcher keeps going out of the way, but he did land that back-flipping knee strike. And God, that thing looks like it hurts every time.
Yeah.
I mean, there ain't a whole lot of ways to play that one safe, guys. Like, y'all have to understand, like, he is landing on him. Sternum. Yeah, he is landing on him with whatever force gravity is pulling him down at. There is not any stop with the hands or the knees or anything like there would be like an off the top move or something like that. Like,
let's just say that his opponents are lucky that he is only about 175 pounds. Only that. Yeah, and that's enough. That's enough to hurt for sure. That's
enough. Yeah. So, but once again, Speedball picks up the international title, and I'm wondering if that negate, like it's like the double negative thing, like if it negates, and now maybe he is going to win it.
I don't know.
Who knows? Well, I guess we'll find out how wrestling math works on Wednesday.
Yes.
And then after that, we've got Kevin Knight saying that him and Okada and Hechicero would take on any former world champions that want to step to them next week at Grand Slam Mexico. And that's going to end up being, is it the conglomeration that's doing that one?
No, it's Darby Allin, Chris Jericho,
Darby, Jericho, and Mystico. All three former world champions. Hey.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Which crazy group that is.
Weird group, but
I'm interested to see how it works.
Yeah. I mean, Darby being in this does not surprise me, considering his grudge against Kevin Knight. That wasn't going to go away when Knight beat him. He cheated to win. Darby's not going to just let it be. I imagine that they're probably going to run that back at All In with Darby going over.
Probably. I would imagine so, actually. And I hope so.
Yep. Jay Lethal versus Commander.
I thought it was great. I mean, these two guys, Jay Lethal's like the master of big man flippy shit. Commander's the master of little man flippy shit. And complimentary, guys. I'm not saying flippy shit just because I don't like it or something. No,
flippy shit.
I love the flippy shit.
We love flippy shit.
But this is definitely a clash of flippy shit styles.
Yeah.
And it made for a great match. I thought it was a lot of fun. I like Jay Lethal. I'm a big fan. Like, even when he's a heel, I like Jay Lethal.
He knows what he's doing there. For sure.
Yeah, for sure. He's one of the best hands in the business. And
now he's spending the remainder of whatever career he has left, whatever time he has left, doing the right thing and prepping the next generation and putting them over. Like he's Terry Funk in that regard. He's who else was in that same boat that did that? Like, Terry Funk is the one I always go back to because he's the most prevalent in my mind, and he was real old when he was doing that in ECW. But of course he was younger then than when Sting retired. So just goes to show you that age in this business is kind of relative.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, like that was what he's the old veteran who's gonna put the younger guys over, and he did here with Commander, so that he would have a win to justify going in the triple threat for the number one spot in the Casino Gauntlet.
Yeah,
Commander is in this match to take the pin.
Probably
from Tommaso or from Andrade, I don't know, but it's one of those guys that's going to win. It's not Commander. That said, Commander was brilliant as always. Like, the dude he's like I said, I think he might be a bit of a project for TK, going forward. So he is going to lose on Wednesday, but that doesn't mean that he's going to keep losing. I think that maybe he's in for a mini push here.
Yeah. After that, we got our main event of the night with Will Ospreay versus Daniel Garcia, which was set up last night with a standing short distance Hidden Blade, where he just killed Garcia.
Yep. You can practically see the cartoon birds flying around his head after that. It was knocked silly.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is where we find out that Mox, since he's on commentary with Marina by his side, looking menacing but not on commentary, that he's like, "Oh, Continental Cup, huh? Oh, I don't even know who's in it. Did you say you were in it?" And he starts, making fun of Nigel because he's in it. He's like, "Even Marina, come over here. Nigel says he's in the Continental Cup," and Marina loudly swears. She drops an F-bomb that can be clearly heard over Mox's mic about her opinion of that. And yeah, Mox is not concerned with facing the possibility of facing Nigel McGuinness, which kind of annoyed Nigel.
Yeah.
Which is why I think that's where they're going with it. I think that's gonna be your finals. I don't think Nigel goes over, but I do think that he gets that moment in Wembley at least.
Yeah.
Not every Brit can win in their home country necessarily. Right. But the match itself was predictably great. It was. There is an argument to be had that Ospreay is too giving, especially given this whole I'm now the most dangerous I've ever been and stuff like that. But it makes sense when he's facing a Death Rider, because who would be there who would know his tendencies and his weaknesses and the strengths that they have fostered to avoid, but a Death Rider. Yeah. So Garcia actually challenging him and going toe-to-toe with him actually makes a lot of sense from that perspective. But the Bulldog choke seems to be something that multiple people in the Death Rider faction are now adopting. At one point, Garcia locked in a Bulldog on him, but Ospreay fought out of it. Kept trying to go for different chokes, but ultimately a final flurry. I think it was a hook kick and an Os cutter, and then he rolled out of a rear naked choke attempt and then hit him with the Hidden Blade as soon as Garcia turned around for the win. It was set up, but it was kind of it was set up to look like it was out of nowhere too. So it was sudden and it was dynamic and it was great.
Oh yeah, I thought it was a really good match, man. And then we had our aftermath where sorry, we have our aftermath where Ospreay's celebrating, he's going back up the ramp, and then he gets pulled in the crowd by Mark Davis and then accosted by Mark Davis and Romero and Beretta. And then Mark Davis kind of beats him amongst the midsection with a chair.
Notably among this, Mox is still on commentary, but he's like, you know what? He made his choice, and he goes to leave. He stays long enough to announce and make it clear from a storyline perspective that, I'm not going to save you anymore. Yeah. So, yeah, you made your choice. You want to walk this road alone. You can walk it alone.
Mm-hmm.
And Ospreay does that. He counters a chair shot with a kick, grabs a chair, chased everyone off. And then afterwards, he gets on the mic and says, well, I mean, if you wanted to, use foreign objects, we can do that. So how about you keep the no outside interference stipulation, but we add a street fight stipulation to our match in Mexico. So, Mexico City street fight. At least one of them better be wearing jeans, or by God, I'm going to be so annoyed.
I feel like Mark Davis would probably be wearing jeans and a fanny pack.
I hope so. I really hope so.
I really hope so. Yeah.
If for no other reason than to contain that donk.
Well, we'll see how that all goes. I'm super excited for Wednesday. Great week of wrestling this week, and yeah, we'll see how much
we're ramping up.
Yeah,
this oh my gosh, I'm so excited for Grand Slam Mexico. I'm tingling as I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. I can't wait to get. I mean, they're just ramping up real hard towards All In, and I'm here for it. I'm here for every bit of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that covers the review portion of the show. Guess that means there's just one thing left to do, isn't there?
Yep. Let's do like the pros do and call it in the ring. And this week we have an interview with Mayor Tony Heyl of Bridgeport, Pennsylvania, well known amongst our Blue Sky friends as the mayor who loves wrestling. Our very first politician here on the show, but also our very first big, well-known wrestling fan. We're going to take you to that right now. Recording in progress. Welcome to Call It in the Ring this week. And this week we have Mayor Tony Heyl with us. He is a mayor, guys. Okay. And also a very vocal wrestling fan on Blue Sky, somebody that Adam and I both follow. We're both big fans of his. We really enjoy seeing somebody who is from what detractors might call the respectable side of society, and that watches wrestling, which those same detractors would call the non-respectable side of society. And even though we all here know better, AEW's classy, guys.
Yeah.
So, but we have Mayor Tony Heyl here. Mayor, thank you for coming on the show. I don't know if I should call you Mayor or Tony or Your Honor.
Tony is fine. I mean, I have a mayor stash. Where did I put it? I have a mayor stash somewhere. I wish if I could step over and find it, but it'll take me a few minutes. I'm sorry I didn't put it on.
That's okay. That's all right. That's just cool that you have one. That's pretty rad.
Yeah, so I went to a mayor conference last month now at this point, and it was for America 250. It was in Philadelphia. Bridgeport's near Philadelphia, and they did a big mayor photo. Their mayors are from across the country there. Bridgeport is about 6,000 people, so it's not a huge town, but it was really exciting meeting people from Michigan, Florida, Arizona, and other places. And so they had these sashes, which I was like, that was worth going for that. And then I got a free book out of it from a book signing. So that was terrific for me. When you're in your 40s and you get a sash and a book, that's like winning the lottery, though.
Heck yeah!
Though I did win the Powerball last night. I won $12, so I'm on a winning streak.
Heck yeah!
It's your lucky weekend.
Yeah.
No, if I wore a sash, or if I won a sash just for doing my job, I would wear it literally all the time.
I have been wearing my sash to take pictures in town sometimes, and I thought, oh, this is corny and silly, but people enjoy it. I went to our local diner, put the sash on to promote the local cook, and he posted it. And it's just people like that. People like when you're willing to make fun of yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if pro wrestling has taught me anything in my 41 years on this earth, it's that if you lean hard into something with the idea of it being fun, people will join you in the fun.
Yes.
They absolutely will. As long as, people can tell it's fake, right? People can tell. They see through the BS. So as long as you're enjoying yourself and you're really leaning into it, they'll come along with you for the ride.
Right. And just like anything else, with any other, I like science fiction. I like a wide variety of content. I like to read. I try not to read the same kind of book. But wrestling, like any TV show, when you forget that it's not real, it's more athletic than regular sports. I love the Philadelphia Phillies. Bryce Harper's not going off a ladder through thumbtacks, right? Probably would say no to that in his contract. But
yeah, now I'm not getting sued by his team.
Right. If you watch Friends or you watch Abbott Elementary, they're not when you get into the characters and you just admit, like, agree that they're in New York, they're in Philadelphia, like this is real, then you enjoy it more. Like you just get into the show, and that's just entertaining yourself.
Yeah.
So,
I
so
had a conversation with somebody on Blue Sky today who just didn't get wrestling. We tend to have them all the time. I try to convert people when I can, give it, at least get them to see it from a different angle, as long as they seem coachable, I guess is a good word.
Mhm.
Didn't really work out, but I think he respected people who watch it a little bit more now than he did. So I mean, there's that. I mean, he had a kind of an air of arrogance about, oh, I watch real sports, so it's like,
but do you
got
though?
my work cut out for me.
I think a lot of other sports just haven't admitted that they're fixed yet.
Well, I mean,
but that's a whole like bucket of worms, and I'd be better off talking about that on Art Bell than here on this show. So, but yeah. So, Mayor, I'm gonna have a hard time not calling you Mayor.
That's fine.
So, Tony, I guess the first thing, one of the things that we like to do here, you're only the second like actual live guest we've had. But one of the things that we did early on in the podcast between Adam and I that people like to hear a lot, and that is often revisited amongst the people who download our show, and then also what we did with our first guest is we'd like to hear your wrestling origin story. Like, how did you become a wrestling fan?
So I've been a wrestling fan as far as I can remember back to 1991, and so I'm 46 years old. My best friend lived across the street from me, and he was into wrestling. And at the time, it was on, Saturday afternoon. I didn't really watch the Monday primetime show, but it's all the same things, right? Because the shows are all recaps of the other show. So I started watching around that time, got into things like Bret Hart and Jake the Snake Roberts at the time had been a heel, and it was just so cool to see. And then that fall of 1991, we went to our first wrestling show together. And this was in Pittsburgh Civic Arena at the time. And the main event, the biggest match on the card, was Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair. And like
you
as
went to
an
one of
11-year
those
old,
shows?
I didn't appreciate how cool that was. I still remember because our seats were pretty good. They weren't on the floor. I did get some on the floor for a couple other shows in general, but like I remember seeing Ric Flair and wondering how is this guy competitive? Like looking around and like the fans are really into it. But I remember like it was more free flowing, like the security in some ways too, because I think we ran down to the entranceway when some of the people were coming in. Because like, I remember one kid who was like really into Virgil. I still remember this 35 years later. And I think that the final match, I'm pretty sure the final match was actually Earthquake versus Road Warrior Animal. And I can still remember where I was seeing Animal power slam him and how the ring sounded and moved. And like really from being like, again, if you like Friends, you don't get to see Friends live. You don't get to see these Abbott Elementary live. So seeing this, like my friend and I, we were like hooked, and we would be watching it all the time. And then it changes all the time. So I never stopped watching. And then I had a small TV in my room and was flipping through, and sometime in 92 caught on to WCW, started reading the other magazines, and got into like Vader and Sting and Rick Rude. Like that was like, oh, there's this other style of wrestling. And I remember renting a WCW video game in 1992 and being like so into Vader because that was like the coolest thing. So, and especially even then, like being interested in like where someone was going back and forth, and you didn't have the internet. So like when British Bulldog appeared in WCW, like what happened here? Or when this other guy appears in WWF, it was crazy. And then, wrestling evolves. And I still remember like in 98 being in high school, or 97 or 98, I guess it was 98, and seeing, you were talking about like trying to get people into wrestling. And I
Yeah.
remember going to school and people were wearing like Steve Austin or DX shirts. I was like, where have you guys been? It's been good. You've been missing out. Finally, you were willing to admit that this is entertaining. So that's how I got into it. Was 1991. Jake the Snake, Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair, and Bret Hart.
I can't believe you got to go to one of the
Oh my
kind of
gosh.
legendary Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan house shows. That's insane. Oh, that's so cool.
Ah, it's so cool.
That's
man.
so cool.
Yeah, I have
Did it
been to
end
a
up
lot
counting?
of shows. I grew up in Pittsburgh, moved to the Philly area, and I've been to dozens of shows between WWF, WWE, then later. I went to one ECW show that came to Pittsburgh. It was late in ECW. Well, I mean, ECW didn't last that long anyway, but a bunch of Ring of Honor shows and a few AEW shows, and then some other smaller things because in Philadelphia there's a lot of wrestling things. And I went to a couple TNA shows. Where actually the one TNA show I saw in Philadelphia, I may have gone to more than one, but was the pay-per-view or whatever that had Sting versus Hogan.
Oh.
That there were other things that were good on that show, but that was just
Yeah.
like that wasn't a great match. I remember that.
I can't imagine. Really was, especially. I mean, especially not at that point in their careers.
No.
In Hogan's career specifically.
It was cool to see, but I still remember there was a fan there who was all dressed as Sting, taking things extremely seriously, and that was very entertaining to me.
Oh my God. Yeah. So Adam and I both went to WrestleMania 25 down in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And so we sat separately because we had bought our tickets separately, but we were took the trip together and went down. And it was funny because there was, during the Shawn Michaels and Undertaker match, I'm a big Shawn guy. I'm also a big Taker guy, but Shawn was my favorite.
Right.
There was a guy standing at the end of my row dressed as the Undertaker and counter cheering me, basically, maliciously counter cheering me. and I think at one point wanted to fight me, but there were two guys. They were dressed as old school bodybuilders sitting behind us, like the little trunks, big bodied, bald guys, and they're just oh, bully, and they were being so silly that they completely diffused the situation. But that's all that reminded me of. I completely understand the guy in full cosplay being way too serious about it, because it was funny because he was like, "You're a grown man wearing a John Cena shirt," and I was just like, "You're dressed as the Undertaker. I mean, what are we doing here, guy?"
Head to toe, hat, coat, guy liner, everything.
Yeah. I remember. So I was a fan before before Marty Jannetty jumped through the plate glass window.
Oh my God.
And now active cowardice. So I was, I remember around Christmas time of that year, I got a lot of wrestling figures as gifts. So that helped to stir up what I liked about it. So I had the Rockers tag team set, and those were fun toys where it was just the cheap little spring thing. But I wish I still had those toys. So I would probably I actually have some wrestling figures in my mayor's office. They're just, I have to put them somewhere. So I have a few modern things, an Adam Page, and Bryan Danielson, Rock, and Randy Savage. But one of the matches that really turned me on to how wrestling can be realistic, and it's more than just the Hulk Hogan style. You mentioned Shawn Michaels, with Shawn Michaels versus British Bulldog for the Intercontinental title, because it was such a well crafted match where the heel cheats to damage his back, and it leads to the finish in a really smart way. It's one of the matches I think that if you want to tell someone in an easy way, here is what makes wrestling great, that's a really great match, because nothing's stupid. There's no outside interference. He just out tricks the stronger guy who always uses power moves, and he lands on top of him and wins. And I remember seeing that and being like, oh, this guy is smart. And the booking then was, there was cartoon characters, but the top level stuff in 92 around that time with Brett and Shawn was just easy and realistic. I liked that. I always liked that in wrestling.
Yeah, you bring that match up. That's not one that people would bring up a whole lot. I think it gets drowned out by a lot of stuff that mostly Brett was doing at that point. And 92 was a real down year for them. So it was pretty much okay, we're gonna put the belt on Brett. We're gonna change it so that he wins it at a house show in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Which why would anybody run there unless you're having a down year?
It's one of the 7 stops, man.
I guess, yeah.
On the Canadian tour.
That's true. But you know, 92 is kind of a lost year. Like the Royal Rumble that year is an all-timer, absolutely
All-timer.
peak Royal Rumble. And then like the steroid trial hits, and they change direction. You know, Hogan's gone, and then like it's all the smaller guys that finally get a little bit of shine. You know, Shawn wins. You know, the IC title goes from Brett, the Mountie, to Brett, to Bulldog, to Shawn. And like even Bulldog, as big as he was kind of in the smaller guy mold. He wasn't super tall. He was just like 6 feet and jacked. But like, he was,
yeah, because the years before that, the title scene was rather corny, like Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter for America. Or, like my friend was really into Ultimate Warrior, and he was back in 1992. But there was a lot of like more realistic stuff, and both companies, WCW, I think, was better in 92 than it was in other years, like the Wrestle War 92, like War Games, Sting and Vader, and all the stuff that was going on there. Steve Austin, people know how great he was later, but like in 92, 93, Steve Austin was amazing in WCW.
Stunning Steve was fantastic.
Oh yeah, Stunning Steve and the Hollywood Blondes, man, like that was all
Dangerous Alliance. Yeah, like
yes. Yes, early Steve Austin is epic. Steve Austin. People don't give that enough credit. I also
and these days there's like, if you watch like you're gonna summarize last week's Dynamite, talk about the upcoming one this week that's gonna be basically pay-per-view quality with the Arena Mexico. The whole show is great, and then like you would have like some silly stuff, like we were just watching Celebrity Family Feud, and I remember WrestleMania 8 had Ray Combs from Family Feud. So you had like silly stuff, but then you'd have like these 2 or 3, like this is why we're watching the show, at least 3 matches. But in both companies, there was a lot of good. There wasn't enough quantity of the quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say that's a really good summation of it. It wasn't enough quality to the quantity. Yeah. Or quantity of the quality.
Yeah, quantity of the quality. Yeah.
Did it.
But yeah,
you said it better than I did.
I think there was definitely a down slump in the early 90s as far as wrestling quality went, but I think that's where they were figuring out how to, transition from the 80s and the Hogan-esque era and the previous, like the old school wrestling era to a product that is like more realistic, even though more people were in the know about what was up with wrestling. Like there was more people in 1995 to like 99 who were, I know this is not real, versus the 70s where you had like literal blood feud heat because a lot of people didn't understand that it wasn't real yet. Or if they did, it wasn't like it, but it wasn't like a well-known thing. There was
at the very least they allowed themselves to get further into the fantasy. People generally allow themselves now.
Yeah,
and that's what I think. Like, when I try and convince someone to like just be willing to enjoy wrestling, because just enjoy life. We're only here for a short time, and it's kind of, you look at that, and wrestling corresponds with the culture in general. So the 80s wrestling was over the top characters, like cartoony, like muscle bound. That was a lot of the 80s movies, and just the vibe of the 80s was like Rambo. It was colorful, which is fine. Like I liked a lot of it. I mean, I can go back and enjoy WrestleMania 3. It's fun. But then the 90s became like Seinfeld. It became TV shows that were grounded more in reality than Alf in the 80s, right? And and so there were alternatives all the time, but that as things evolve, and something I appreciate that WWE has always tried to adapt to changes, sometimes in ways that like are very cringy, as kids would say, or like very bad, but that you can see sometimes where maybe they've gone too far or it's weird, but wrestling is sometimes either following culture or leading it. Because it sees things and can adapt, because it's got a live audience, whereas TV shows don't.
Yeah, it's one of the great advantages of Its biggest advantage and its biggest disadvantage are the same thing,
Right.
because you have that live audience and they can tell you exactly what they want, and you can listen to them and you can change direction, and that's an incredible asset to have. Movies don't have that. TV shows are generally, at least fictional TV shows are generally in the can weeks, if not months, before their broadcast, so you can't just change on a dime. That's the great thing about a continuous live performance art medium. But the downside is that it's live, brother. They will tell you, and they will absolutely tune out if they do not like what they're seeing. And it will, if you don't adapt, you're not going to make it. Like, you see this happening with WWE right now. Like, I don't watch their product anymore, but I see what comes across my skyline, and I see the clips, and I mean, granted, there's a heavy anti-WWE bias on Blue Sky, to be fair, but I don't think it's unjustified. You see like what they're doing, and you see, like, I just saw today, there was tons of empty seats at SummerSlam night one. Like 6 months ago, that would have been unheard of. People are tuning out to what they don't like, and they're tuning into what they do.
Yeah, I think that some of that, you can kind of look at the pushback against AI, because what people don't like about AI is that it's fake. And when you have a lot of ads and you have a lot of that stuff that WWE has. And granted, it's not like it's unpopular. It's not like no one cares about WWE. They can bring in tons of celebrities. But now, like, when you see things like Jelly Roll in a competitive match, it's different than like when Mike Tyson was a celebrity. It's like, that guy's tough. And I'm not a Mike Tyson fan, but like, using celebrities a certain way makes sense. And so now WWE often feels like a caricature of a wrestling company, as opposed to, like, that's what Bryan Danielson said, right? Like, you're allowed to like it. The people can like what they like, and it's nice that there's a variety. But I think we're all hoping for and excited for New Day coming to AEW, and
yes,
I'm excited because I think that those are both great wrestlers, and I really want to see them have, like, their first match is the best match they've ever had, because they finally have the shackles off to be themselves, and like, okay, this is where, if you want to watch a wrestling show, this is where you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look what it's done for Tommaso Ciampa. Like, he's always been great, but like, he came to AEW like he had to prove something to the entire world, and has absolutely crushed it from the minute he walked through the door. I imagine that Kofi and Austin are gonna just do the same thing. Honestly, those are two very motivated, incredibly creative dudes. So I can't imagine that they haven't been thinking about this for much longer than the period of time since they've been caught.
Yeah.
Dude, Ciampa's going so crazy in AEW right now that my 19-year-old son who watches with us most of the time, like, most of the time he'll just come, like, if we're watching wrestling, he'll plop down and sit, watch. And he saw Ciampa the other day, and he was like, where did this guy come from? I need more. I need more of this guy. I actually had to refer him, because, like, there's not enough of Ciampa in AEW yet. So I had to be like, you know what? Go back like 5 years, NXT Black and Gold, him and Gargano, 1v1. I was like, there's a series of those matches. Just go watch all of them.
Yeah.
Because they were great. Yeah. But the stuff he is doing now is so brilliant, and it's got to be because there's a level of handcuffing that isn't happening creatively with him.
Yeah, I like to watch wrestling at the gym, because I need to go to the gym more, but I'll be on the elliptical and I will have wrestling on, because I don't have to pay attention that much. And I was just rewatching Dynasty from this year with Ricochet versus Chris Jericho, and just Ricochet in AEW is a whole different person than he was in WWE. And it's extremely entertaining. Like, he is one of the most entertaining heels in all of wrestling. And he has been since day one. Even when he's a face, he was fun to like make fun of. And his matches are always creative and like they're unique. Like that's why there's so many permutations of wrestlers in AEW where I want to see these dream matches that haven't happened yet, whether it's 1-on-1 or 2-on-2, because they all get to like be the best versions of themselves as wrestlers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's that level of trust that's given to them about how they want to portray themselves. It's not so like, I mean, for the most part, Tony Khan doesn't so much create characters from whole cloth. He asks his, I mean, most people who come into AEW have their own names, you know, like that alone, you know, giving them that independence. Like there's still that nebulous, are we independent contractors or are we employees thing that needs to get sorted out probably eventually. But like there's that level of trust there. It's like, this is your name, this is your gimmick. You know, I'll write the stories to fit your characters, but you get to choose how your character, what his motivations are, what her goals are, what their mannerisms are, that kind of stuff. It's not nearly as micromanaged, you know.
Yeah, I remember one thing I really disliked about WWE since 2002, because I think that things really took a turn after WCW was gone, after they did the stupid invasion, and
Mhm.
there was all sorts of reasons for that. But like they didn't know what they up till then, there was almost like an evolution to a lot of these characters, and then they had a glut of what to do and didn't know what to do with it. But every month it would be like, this story started last month. It's like, I don't think it did. I think it started 6 months ago. But they would almost act like there was amnesia before 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
And now, like when Claudio Castagnoli came to AEW, they didn't hide the fact that he had a decade-long rivalry with Eddie Kingston. Like
yeah,
that mattered. Like the MJF Darby Allin stuff goes back to before AEW was conceived, and so you have things that they will hearken back to history, whether they say it out loud or you just a wink and a nudge to the fans. Like again, the New Day stuff, even though they didn't know if they would ever leave WWE, like you know they're going to do stuff with the Elite because they've been talking about it for a decade now, and it's
Mhm.
that's exciting because they've been building
yeah,
to it. So AEW acknowledges that the real world exists.
yeah.
You
It's
know,
not
yeah.
necessarily its own microcosm. It's just you know, things. I mean, look at the Forbidden Door concepts. They really want to work with literally everybody. It's awesome. Like, I wouldn't know like who half of like the Stardom people that they brought in. Like I don't know like any of those girls, and they're all awesome from what I've seen this
Hmm.
year, especially like
Yeah.
Starlight Kid versus Tekla was just incredible.
Oh, we need more
I
of that.
loved. Yeah, put that right in my veins.
Yeah.
Give me
Right,
more of
and then you'll
that.
see AEW stars go to other places because, like, I haven't seen the mystery wrestling show that happened, but a bunch of AEW stars are there.
Mm.
You'll see them go to New Japan. You'll see them be at CMLL and all the partnerships they have. And I that was something I really liked about WCW when I was getting into them 30 plus years ago is they acknowledged New Japan wrestling. They acknowledged some other things. So you're like, ooh, that's neat. Like even I
Mhm.
remember as a kid when they acknowledged WWF acknowledged Smoky Mountain Wrestling, where they had some. When you know that there's
Yeah,
an extra world out there, I want to see that. I want to like find out who's going to come from that organization here. And I mean that's why the invasion was cool because you could see these new wrestlers come into your company.
Mhm.
And you know, for so long they acted like nothing happened. Like when CM Punk did that pipe bomb promo, and it was like a shocker that he mentioned a couple other wrestling promotions. And now it's just like looking back on everything he said seems so tame compared to what we would say today.
yeah,
Yeah.
But that's all. That's neat to experience the whole world of wrestling because it's so diverse, and that's something you can't get from other sports. Like football is football. You can like arena football, but it's still football, and I like football. Soccer is soccer, but there's different levels of it. But like if I go to an AEW show versus a Stardom show, versus like so many other things. There'll just be a whole different presentation to it, and that's really fun about wrestling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
wrestling
is.
can be anything.
Yeah, that's kind of our credo here. Is like
Yeah.
wrestling can and should be anything. Like I think that's the great malleability of what you can do in there. I mean, you mentioned mystery wrestling. Like, look at what they're doing. They're pushing the boundaries of what comedy wrestling can be and what people can buy into willingly, and it's awesome. It's fantastic. I love that there's a thriving independent promotion that's dedicated solely to comedy wrestling, because like you know like Simon Miller on What Culture says, goofy wrestling for life. I'm a big fan of goofy wrestling, as long as it's my flavor of goofy, I guess.
Yeah, when I talk to friends and try and convince them that they should give wrestling a chance, and it is a weird thing to me that people have an attitude against wrestling because, like, I love hockey. Hockey's fantastic. I grew up a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. I've been to so many games. But again, a hockey game costs a lot more than going to a wrestling show for the most part. And um, but it's the same all the time. And you're going to see at most a 7-6 game, right? Like it's rare to get more goals than that. Usually it's like 3-1 or something like that. And try to explain to them like wrestling is so different culturally. Whether it's just in the United States, from like how WWE was, like New England wrestling, New York as they called it, to Southern wrestling, to sometimes Canadian wrestling and the presentation there. Obviously, the whole cultural difference of Mexican wrestling, which is so cool, and I wish I could experience that live, like to see that. That's just a whole different vibe. Japanese wrestling, it's not even just one culture of wrestling in Japan, like different kinds of things, and it's not only that the matches are done in one way, but there's a whole mythos behind it. And then you go to Europe and you go to you go to England and there's different things there. So all over the world where they have wrestling, it's culturally different, but you can still identify with it. Just like if you're Catholic, you can go to any Catholic church, and you can kind of get along with it because a lot of it's basically the same. It's just they might be in a different language.
Yeah, no, I that's a really, really, really good insight. Like it's such a big genre. Like it's like film. Like there's this one medium, and it is partitioned into all these different little things. So separated by culture. I mean, like just look at the differences between like the Memphis territory and New York. Like they're like worlds apart. And they're not really even geographically that far separated, really. But like it's just you get those little, like you said, the cultural differences that make up this giant tapestry of the most wonderful performance art in the world.
Right. Yeah, you can't, like, people. I didn't appreciate Jerry Lawler when I was a kid, and yet what they did in the local wrestling in Memphis for many, many years, like, and the history of what he did on Letterman with Andy Kaufman, like, you can't do that in other sports. Like, there's not going to be a celebrity that comes into a basketball thing. Like, you might do something on the pre-show, but it's just a whole different vibe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I love wrestling because it's like, if you go to a baseball game, you're going to a baseball game. It's a baseball game. Or a hockey game, it's a hockey game. A football game, same thing. Soccer, name a sport, we're generally getting the same thing. But you go to a single wrestling show, just one, like not even multiple wrestling shows. You go to one wrestling show, and like, especially in the case of AEW, one of the reasons I love it so much is because you'll get like a comedy match, and then you'll get a match with two techers, a conglomeration versus any other three people. And then you'll get like a Zack Sabre Jr. Bryan Danielson match or something like that. And then after that, you'll get a blood feud between like Hanger and Swerve or something like that. And those are all radically different. Like the Hanger and Swerve match is for sure going to make me cringe. I'm going to hide my eyes at some points because there's just some things I don't want to see again. And then like but the conglomeration match is going to make me laugh, even when Roddy's in there, just because he'll throw orange around or whatever. Like I'm going to laugh at the whole match, even though Roddy is probably one of the A1 techers of the company. And then like a Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bryan Danielson or some similar coupling, where you got the mad techers going on. And then maybe a luchador match also that's all, like a 6-man or a tag team luchador match, or something like that. Like all 4 of those things, you could have those in a row. We're going to react differently to every one of them. And the unifying fact is that one, all 4 of them they're all wrestling, and all 4 of them could in their own ways be a 5-star match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that. Like, I don't know what I'm going to get. Yes, I've been to bad wrestling shows, but none of them have ever been all bad,
Right. I've always been happy. I saw like at the worst, I got to see a wrestler I like, like interact with something cool. But like you mentioned the conglomeration, because they like Orange Cassidy in some ways is a comedy wrestler, but as we've seen, you could easily make a case that he's one of the top 10 wrestlers of the last 10 years in terms of like the matches he's produced. And and the reason it's controversial is there's been so many great wrestlers over the last 10 years that he might be 30th. And I'm not saying that as a criticism. It's just like, okay, I got to count Kyle Fletcher and Okada and Omega. Like I have to count all these people on the list. But like, Kyle O'Reilly is both silly in that group, and I love their 90s opening. And then he had one of the best matches of the night when he tapped out John Moxley last year at Full Gear. Like that match was awesome. And I was rewatching that recently, and I was like, yeah, I'm glad I paid for that, because that was worth it for that. And you would never see that match in WWE.
No. If you did, it would be like an 8-minute match on Raw. The main eventer would dominate most, like 70% of the match, and it'd be over before you even knew what happened.
Yeah.
And I think that WWE has copied some of AEW's work rate to some extent. Like some of the things that they have done lately have been like, oh, we have to do some of that. Like competition leads to the companies needing to do something. And I think AEW, I think it's been good from the start, but I think when they really stopped even trying to be like WWE, it's been better, because certain people, certain characters who were there, certain wrestlers who were just a different version of WWE, it didn't feel as good. Now it's like when it just is true to AEW's core, then it's been at its best. And what I like, there's so many things I like about AEW. I've been to a bunch of shows, had some really great experiences with Bryce Remsburg. I work at my nonprofit, ALS United Mid-Atlantic, and we had a couple wrestlers there, Wheeler Yuta and Anthony Bowens, which was really cool in 2024. So
very cool.
I got Anthony Bowens to scissor with our board chair. It was a great photo. I had no idea what was going on.
That's great.
But from basically day one, there has been a through thread of this. There's a theme to what we're doing here. And it's about being the best wrestling company. Who is the best wrestler? What makes a person the better wrestler? Like John Moxley's version of wrestling, where it's about being tough, versus Kenny Omega's version of wrestling, which is about like style and just a different style of wrestling. And that's been from the first pay-per-view through now with this Will Ospreay program. Like every program basically comes down to, I am better than you. I want to be champion. It's not a complicated thing. No one's arguing about shampoo commercials. No one's arguing about girlfriends. It's basically every wrestler, even if they have a different kind of character, their goal is to be the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and I think that I think like you implied, they kind of muddied the waters a little bit somewhere around 2023 around like what that means, and trying to be like too kind of self-aware about it, I guess. And now it's just like we're just going to focus on ourselves. And ever since they started doing that, it's been just nonstop, just hit after hit after hit after hit. Like I can't remember the last time that I've watched an organization be this consistently good for this long.
Yeah, they've been around since 2019. There has not been a time when it's been quality. And I mean, WCW Nitro didn't last this long, obviously. And you can't find a 7-year run of WWE or WWF that was at this level of quality. Like, I loved WWE, WWF in 1997. I think it's their best year in a lot of
I
ways.
agree.
Like,
I
but if you
agree.
take that and kind of point to like the 7 years, anytime 7 years before or after that, like include that, you're gonna find a lot of bad years, and you don't have a bad year in AEW where everything is just like, I have to sit through this. And yeah, there were times where some programs were not the best, like. The Devil storyline was not my favorite, but that was the same time that the Swerve and Hangman thing was happening. So,
Yeah,
like, you take the good, you take the bad, but like there was always greatness from day one.
it's
Yeah.
true.
I mean, I actually think the company that might have gotten closest to a 7-year really good run might be ROH. But honestly, if I have to look at it, that 7-year run would have been when all the people who are in AEW now were in ROH. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a different writer, but it's all the same guys and a lot of the same characters.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't know when that 7-year run would be. Like
yeah, I'm
my
not sure
first
when
Ring
it
of
would
Honor
be,
show,
but yeah, that would have to be the closest thing.
because I mean, if you went from like the Samoa Joe run of like 2003 to 2010, I think towards the end there, it kind of like got like
Yeah.
they had some
Tapered.
dips.
Yeah.
But I went to a bunch of shows, things I don't only remember seeing because it was in Philly and I could go. But I did the one of my favorite wrestling experiences live was going to the Death Before Dishonor show where CM Punk won the title in 2005,
Oh.
and someone I know was like on video, like in the reaction of when he won and was running out, and that was just such a fun show. Um, but I think the way that Ring of Honor was, as great as it was, not every episode was high quality. Sometimes it was, but
Mm,
just in terms of the
yeah.
talent they had, especially because in the gap there was like this issue with TNA taking not letting their wrestlers wrestle there. I think was a big mistake. Like I think TNA faltered from the start with their stupid name and some of the bad booking. But if they had embraced that relationship with Ring of Honor early on and just let people do like what AEW does, maybe they would have been more successful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
I mean, that's a fair assessment. I mean, I don't think their business model has been great. I don't understand how they survived some of the things that they did.
They've been
Um,
on death's door
yeah, I feel like
repeatedly
that.
for like the last, well, really since its inception. Really,
Yeah.
like it was close to closing down within a few months with the pay-per-view model.
And they said so on Dark
So
Side. Like Jeff was like, we almost closed down 6 or 7 times, So,
I
so
mean, they
yeah,
had a lot of really great wrestlers, a lot of great
yeah,
moments, but like it looked like some cheesy karate show in terms of presentation from the 1990s. Like
yeah.
AEW did the really smart thing from the start where they invested in production quality, so it always seemed slick, and TNA just didn't because the competition was WWE at the time. Like it didn't look credible in comparison,
yeah,
and
Yeah.
I think that was, and when you start out that way, it doesn't help you. It's hard to get back to it. Whereas AEW has always seemed like a very credible wrestling program.
That's,
yeah.
yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, I don't know how I could expand on that either. Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that not only is Tony Khan like obviously super obsessive about wrestling, but he surrounds himself with guys who, for the most part, were kind of self-made. I mean, the Elite pretty much got themselves over, kind of despite New Japan not really wanting to invest in them in the way that like an American company would invest in them, because the culture is different over there. But I mean, being the Elite propelled them to the fact where there were Bullet Club T-shirts in Hot Topic stores. I don't think that can be really undersold. Like this
Yeah,
was a Japanese promotion that hardly any Americans even had access to, let alone watched. But it had enough popularity from this one group inside it from a YouTube show and its popularity that they were able to get one of the top retailers, one of the most recognizable retailers in the country to carry their shirts. That's an incredible feat. Like,
yeah, I have the Young Bucks book. My wife got it for me for Christmas a couple years ago. I think it's a good book because what I like about the Young Bucks, one, I think that aside from maybe FTR or the Briscoes, are the best tag team in the last 25 years, if not ever, because of their longevity and all the stuff they've done. But as the book points out, they never wanted to go by expectations of what other people said. Like Booker T had said something about like, oh, you guys should really, this is what you should do. That's not what people do. And like, no, we're gonna do it differently, and that makes them stand out. Like, because if everyone's the same, then no one stands out, and so they subverted expectations, and now all of their matches are a blast. Like again, I was just watching the Dynasty show. They're wrestling Okada and Takeshita, two of the best individual wrestlers of the past 25 years or 10 years at least, and like the Young Bucks, in theory, should be any one of them. It should be like not a competitive match, but it was like it's such a good match, and they just do that on the daily basis.
yeah, at Redemption, like we went over this when we covered it a week ago, but that was my favorite match, was them versus Mox and Ospreay.
Oh yeah, easily.
Like I loved this. I cannot stop raving to anybody who'll listen about the story of this match. Like it was just, and how it played into the rest of the show. It was just incredible. Like, don't get me wrong, Fletcher versus Bandito was right up there.
That was my favorite.
Oh yeah.
That was my favorite.
but to me, like honestly, that might be the Young Bucks' best match from a storytelling perspective. I think that I've seen. My expectations were high, and they were blown away completely. those two, if they're like, I'm an FTR guy, but I'm absolutely willing to concede that Young Bucks are like 1A. Absolutely. 100%.
And like you compare FTR and Young Bucks, and this goes back to regular sports, is that there's different positions on a football field, there's different positions in hockey, whatever sport, but you don't have two teams in one sport that are as different as FTR and Young Bucks, who are both the top level. Like they are presented differently, their style is differently. Like you might go and say, "Oh, I really like the Steelers because of their defense, and I really like the Eagles because of their high flying offense." Like it's going to be really neat to see them play. I don't know if that's going to be the case this season, no matter what. But I'm just picking two teams. But with wrestling, you will have those two clashes, and that's why their matches are always great. It's because like they're not going to wrestle nearly the same, and that those styles connecting is really entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I really like
absolutely.
it when like style, like any kind of stylistic clash. You know, Moxley versus the Luchador. You know, Young Bucks versus almost, except for like Lucha tag teams, almost any other tag team is a style clash with those guys.
Yeah, they
Moxley
pretty much have
versus
their
Commander
own
last
style.
week was a lot of fun.
Oh, dude, Moxley
Yeah.
versus Commander was a great match.
That was really, really fun.
It was great. Yeah.
Absolutely, 100% agree on that. I mean, Moxley has that ability now that he's kind of unshackled from the world title, and he can have these matches with all the, like, now that he's in the mid card title scene, it opened up the opportunity to work with all these mid to undercard guys and let them kind of show up and show out. Like he's just giving opportunities for people and just selling for people that if he was still in the main event scene, you'd be like, why is he wasting his time with Commander? Now he's defending it and selling his butt off for Commander and selling, like, bumping and selling for everything while still being Moxley and still being credible and still going over in the end. But man, it made it look like he had a chance, didn't he?
And like tonight was SummerSlam night 2 because they have to have, like, CM Punk made fun of MJF years ago of like you'll be on headlining night 3 of a 4, whatever he said. But so they had Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins fighting 12 years after they broke up, and like, and to put that into context, that is, I've been watching wrestling since '91. That 12 years is less time than when Bob Backlund came back after losing the WWE title and came back and seemed like an old guy. Like that's a lot of time in wrestling.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so like but they did some moves in that match that harkened to John Moxley or Dean Amber. I don't know what into what effort, but so the fans are like, "Oh, look what they did!" But it's like, why are you thinking about me so much? Like
Yeah.
John Moxley is so moved beyond where he has no connection to that. Like Dean Ambrose does not exist in the wrestling world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's for me. It's Mariah Carey. Why are you so obsessed with me? You
Right.
know. So,
Oh man.
there's still, it still boggles my mind that they're milking that over a decade afterwards when the guy that would complete the set, it doesn't even work there anymore and hasn't for 7 years.
Yeah.
Why go do something new?
He
Build something.
you know, in the ever unlikely event that he ended up back in WWE, he couldn't even be Dean Ambrose anymore. Like, I mean, they'd probably be like, "You got to be Dean Ambrose," but no, he couldn't. Like John Moxley, those are completely different people.
Right.
Those are
And
completely
like,
different people.
and I liked some of the Dean Ambrose matches, but like, it's like if I had to see a Dean Ambrose match, I would be very disappointed. Like it would just be such a huge
Yeah.
step down from all of the stuff he's been doing in the last 7 years.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. But before I forget, I want to ask you because we like to do this. We like to like I like to kind of template everything off the one other guest that we've had live with us. But uh, before I forget, you mentioned an ALS charity. You want to tell the people a little bit more about that?
So as in addition to being mayor of Bridgeport, my full-time job is executive director at ALS United Mid-Atlantic. And we serve people with ALS in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. We've been around since 1977, so entering our 50th year. And I really appreciate what AEW's done with Rebel and all that stuff. So there are a number of ALS organizations. Fantastic what they're doing for Rebel. I want to say the AEW has actually done a few things with us, which is cool. Like at Dynasty last year, my friend Josh, who has ALS, he came to the show with his friend and his daughter, and we talked to AEW, and they took his daughter backstage. And his daughter's like 12, I think, something around there. And she got to interview Athena, got to interview Harley Cameron, got pictures with Prince Nana, Megan Bain. Like she was over the moon with. They treated her like she was part of the AEW family, and there've been a couple other times like where they have done stuff with us. You're just putting our picture up. It's been great. So our website's alsmidatlantic.org. You can follow us on social media at alsmidatlantic. Every dollar goes to fund our mission, which includes mostly patient care, so in-home care, clinics. We support 10 different multidisciplinary clinics. And we do things like assistive technology for speaking, like computer devices, ramping, home assessment, social work help, nurses, etc., and also funding research locally here in the Philadelphia area and with some other organizations, and advocacy for making life easier for people with ALS. So it's a whole gamut of what we do, and we appreciate the support at alsmidatlantic.org.
alsmidatlantic.org. Let's make sure we visit that, folks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're gonna. I know it's, far away, but you're gonna try and make the Athens show for Rebel, the Rebel Heart show.
So I'm not anywhere close to Athens, Georgia. That would be really cool to go to. We do have an organization that's part of the ALS United Network. It's ALS Georgia. My friend Sarah runs that organization, and so I have talked to her about reaching out to the people at AEW. I just big shout out to Bryce Remsburg, who has been the conduit to helping us out. He's been to our luncheon a few years ago that I mentioned Wheeler Yuta and Anthony Bowens came to. And one of the things that was interesting about that from a fan perspective, my coworker, Karen, is a big AEW fan too. This was just weeks after Wheeler Yuta basically tried to murder Bryan Danielson.
No.
So
Yeah, let's
when we
bring
were
in the brand new
talking,
most hated wrestler in AEW for this charity event.
so I had talked
Brilliant.
with a few people at AEW about like, oh, it'd be great if you guys could come to this event. It's on a day that you don't have a show. I asked Bryce because he's a Phillies fan. He's from Pennsylvania, and a couple other people are from Pennsylvania as well. And so the original thought was, oh, Wheeler would love to come, but what about Orange Cassidy? And he's like, yeah, they're probably not coming to things together now. So, like, but Wheeler Yuta was like the nicest person. He was like willing to put the chairs away. Like he was just super, super, super nice. And I was, when you see people like that who have done something evil and then like, oh no, I'm here to help you out. What have you guys met many wrestlers or had any interesting wrestling interactions that were like stand out?
My wife is from Houston. I played in a band there for a long time where, we played 52 gigs a year. I basically know all the venue owners and everybody down there. I've also worked in the music business heavily in Houston. So like I have a lot of connections down there, and a buddy of mine named Martin is a hotel concierge, and he organizes after parties. So we went on the weekend of WrestleMania 25. We went to Super Card of Honor 4 for ROH, and amazing show. And then
Such a great show. Yeah.
After Super Card of Honor, my friend Martin had done the ROH after party, so he invited us to go. So Adam and myself and my wife went to basically this bar in the middle of Houston, and they escort us to this back room that's completely shut off. There's huge security guys everywhere. Yeah. And so they let us in this room, and in this room, after Super Card of Honor 4 is like Generico, Claudio,
Jerry
Colt
Lynn,
Cabana, Jerry Lynn.
Right after he won the title.
Yeah, Jerry Lynn right after he won the title. Nigel was there after losing the title.
Nice.
Bryan Danielson.
Aries was there.
Austin Aries, Grizzly Redwood, Necro Butcher, and Chris Hero, I believe, was also there.
Yeah, Chris was there.
But so we all sat down, like we sat with them at their tables. My wife and I actually sat at the table with Grizzly Redwood and Austin Aries. And so when I hear people say that Austin Aries is like this legendary douchebag, I don't believe them, because he was so polite to us and such a sweetheart. He was literally the sweetest person on the planet. Like him and Grizzly were the funniest guys. And
it just depends on when you catch somebody. Like sometimes people are on their best or worst.
Yeah, but yeah, Adam and I went to the after party. I mean, we have pictures with Bryan Danielson pre-WWE Championship. Generico and
nice.
I remember my wife didn't really know who a lot of these people were, like Adam and I did, and so like she goes to talk to Chris Hero, and she wants him. She had the program, and she's trying to get everybody to sign next to themselves on the program, and she was collecting. I mean, she had collected like all show and had got almost everybody. And she goes up to Chris Hero and she's like, "Could you sign this, please?" And he's like, "You don't even know who I am, do you?" And it was so hilarious.
Well, no, but
like everybody was so themselves except for Generico, who wore his mask and refused to speak English. And
he doesn't speak much Spanish, to be fair.
Claudio, being a heel, did not say a word.
No.
He sat there with this stone look on.
It was very clear that he was in character. To be clear, it wasn't he just was having a bad day. No, he was definitely in character. But he was, I think the Kings of Wrestling lost that night, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so.
So, like, he was putting on the face that, like, no, I'm going to sell the fact that I lost. So I'm going to be a jerk to everybody and not talk to them.
He did. He didn't talk to his friends. He didn't talk to us. He sat there. He ate his giant salad, and then I don't think I saw him again after that. Oh yeah, I think it was enormous. But yeah, I don't think
biggest salad I think I've ever seen.
I don't think I saw him after that. But I was busy like having a beer with Necro Butcher and drinking wine with Austin Aries. And
I need to see that Dark Side of the Ring about Necro Butcher.
It was fantastic.
I've heard it was great. I just haven't had the time.
Yeah, it was so good, and I had gone and watched the match back before, and then realized I didn't need to because they go through the match bump by bump during that episode, and it's just so good. It's just so good.
Yeah. In 2005, I saw Bret Hart at an autograph signing, and that was pretty cool. I have his autograph upstairs. And I remember, like, I told him that one of my favorite matches was him versus Diesel at SummerSlam, not SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and he's like, "All right."
I mean, let's be real here. Kevin Nash's best matches were against Bret Hart.
That's true.
Well, Shawn Michaels. I mean, you could say the Shawn Michaels matches were just as good.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah. But I mean, it's fine. And then I've met him. Did I just meet him one time? Mick Foley did a comedy show here in Philadelphia, and I got to hang out with him a little bit. And what's funny about the comedy show is because it's in Philadelphia, we're sitting in the center, but in the back, and this guy is just laughing so much, and more so than anyone else. He's like, "This is fun." And then at the end of the show, Mick Foley goes, "I want to bring my friend up here, Blue Meanie, come on down." And he had been sitting there the whole time, didn't recognize who it was. Because Blue Meanie's at everything in Philadelphia. He just goes to things. So that was kind of cool. And I met a couple others, like Roderick Strong at a Ring of Honor show years ago. And like at the time, like Ring of Honor is not that big, so the wrestlers are like putting away the chairs afterwards. So like if you hang out long enough, you could see some of them afterwards. And I feel like I missed out where I went home and probably, again, considering it's the Philadelphia area, I probably could have like seen people after the show because it was 1,200 people at most, and afterwards. But
I'm a referee also. And,
oh, nice.
I worked for the NWA for a long time, and like an NWA territory here in Amarillo. So I live in Amarillo. I live in Terry Funk's hometown. I've met him a bunch. Him and Dennis Stamp were like, they used to come backstage and like talk to us. Dennis Stamp once told me that my false finishes are the best in the business, and I carry that like a badge of honor.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
I met Terry Funk at a Mick Foley thing in 2005 too, because it was when he started the thing. I only met him briefly, but he was just like the nicest old man. He was just.
But in my capacity as a referee, they would bring me in to do, like, when we would have guys fly in and do stuff, I would basically referee the show and then work like their daytime security. So when they would do signings or whatever, I'd be the guy in the sunglasses with the suit standing next to him, even though I'd be working with guys like Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Rob Conway, who both are way more physically intimidating than I am. So I'm like, why am I working security for these guys that could beat me stupid if they felt like it? And he's like, they just got to have guys. They got to, it has to look serious. So look serious, but yeah, like Hacksaw and, Rob Conway when he was NWA champ, and Tokyo Monster Kahagas when he was NWA champ. Tim Storm is from my home territory, and he was a former NWA champ, and I worked with him before he was champ, and that man is every bit as big as he looks on television. I've never had, like, even my dad's a big guy, but I've never had somebody shake my hand and completely envelop my hand.
Yeah.
And his hands are so big. They're so big. He just like, I felt like I was a baby shaking hands with a giant. Like I was just like, "Hey, how you doing?" He's the sweetest guy, though. His physical intimidating presence, but completely lies on who he is, because he's just like the nicest person. But yeah, I mean, like I met a ton of guys, working like I've worked with Raven and Paul London, who's a super rad dude. Paul's fun. I've worked with him multiple times.
I remember. I loved Paul London back in the early. So I got into ALS because my grandfather had ALS, and so I would sit with him on Fridays back in 2005 when my grandmother would go out. So I would be with him, and we would watch TV and we would watch wrestling a lot of the time. And so that was when Paul London and Brian Kendrick were doing their thing, and he thought it was like the funniest thing. So he really enjoyed watching all of that because he had watched wrestling back in like whatever the 60s or 70s. And it's not something he would be like the top fan of, but that was when I think of Paul London, I think of watching wrestling with my grandfather, which is always a nice thing.
That's cool.
Awesome. Yeah, my grandmother still watches wrestling to this day. She's 86 years old, and she loves Randy Orton and Kyle Fletcher because, of course, she does. She always tells me, "Man, that Randy is a sexy boy." And then I showed her Kyle Fletcher. She's like, "She looks just like Randy 20 years ago." And And now she's like, my grandma just loves, like, I introduced her to AEW, and she's a big WWE head, and now she watches wrestling 4 times a week because, I mean, she's retired. So she
That's what
gets
I'm
to,
gonna do.
yeah, yeah.
Like, other people have these big retirement plans. Like, I'm probably just gonna be sitting around watching 50 years worth of wrestling.
I mean,
Well,
I can
it'll
think of
be
worse ways to
available.
spend your retirement, right? Like, I mean, that sounds
Right.
like a great way to spend at least part
Yeah,
of
I'm
your
not
retirement.
complaining. Like, I don't need a lot in my life. I would love to go to Italy. I'd love to travel the world. Like, my son, my 10-year-old wants to go to Japan. I was like, let's go on a trip. We're gonna go to Japan and we'll see wrestling and we'll get you your food. Like, that's my dream trip is going to Japan with my son and like taking wrestling, even though he barely cares about wrestling.
You and your
That's
son,
awesome.
Wrestle Kingdom,
That's
ramen
awesome.
shops. Like, that sounds like a great trip, actually.
Whether it's Wrestle Kingdom or even a smaller show, I think it would
Or
be a
like a
blast.
DDT show would be
Oh,
super
dude,
fun.
yeah, like small, like
Yeah.
DDT and Stardom and stuff like that would be super cool.
Hmm.
I want to go to Japan and spend I'm just saying, like, I can't go till I can spend like a year there because there's so much stuff I want to do from like end
So
to end in
much
that place.
stuff.
Like, one trip would never cover it. I don't think I'd have to get one of those free houses they got over there and just stay. Like,
Squat.
yeah, just well, no, they got like literally like there's people that don't want to pay the property tax anymore, so they just give the house away. There's a bunch of houses for $0. Yes.
Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
I'll try the same thing.
But yeah, there's I don't know, man. Like, there's something magical about wrestling. Like, truly, like it's one of the things like that makes me feel as a 42-year-old man, and I'm sure you can relate to this a little bit, especially in your in your position of responsibility as you are across politics and your actual job. It's hard at this age to find like a real sense of whimsy and
Right.
and like magic in the world, but wrestling really scratches that itch, man. It really does.
So many things have to have a lesson. I don't watch the news. I mean, I follow it because I have to, and I encourage people to watch news. Be involved politically, vote, do everything you can. So it's important to me. But like, you need an outlet, and I don't care for off seasons in sports. I like watching any sport basically, but I don't have it in me to care about the off field stuff in sports. So whatever you like, there's going to be a big gap in between like the end of the season and beginning. And also, like, if your team is not good enough to make the playoffs, then like you're watching people you don't care about. So, but as with wrestling, it changes, it evolves. You're not going to miss there's going to be something year round. And I really love, like, I'm looking forward to the Continental Classic every year now. Like, it's
Oh,
awesome. Like, that's so,
Yeah.
there's certain things throughout the year where you're like, okay, I'm looking forward to this at the end of the year, this at this time of the year. And like, it's going to be good all the time. And it is a fantastic distraction. And, it's disappointing to me as a wrestling fan when WWE was getting worse and worse for a few years. I thought, like, ups and downs, and then all things happening with WWE after AEW started that just turned me off completely. But having this new alternative reinvigorated my excitement for the wrestling in general, and that I hope that it can last as long as possible because that 2018, 2019 in WWE was not the best, to put it mildly, and then like the company got worse in a lot of ways.
yeah. It
So
was it
having
was
this
pretty
as a
much
balance.
Becky Lynch, and then everything else was trash, like for the most part.
I think that the 2018 Royal Rumble may be my favorite Royal Rumble. Like, as a standalone match, it's really good. But then Nakamura just turns into a
Yeah,
cartoon character after that. So
that is
like
true. That was a good.
That's
That was a
true.
good
Yeah,
rumble.
that
like
was.
Nakamura and AEW would have been fantastic.
Oh my god. There's
There's
a
still
part
a
of me.
chance.
I there's a part of me that hopes that he's interested in coming over when his WWE contract is up, but only if he can find that spark that he had in New Japan. Like, I remember watching him for the first time I ever saw Nakamura was Wrestle Kingdom 8, 9, whichever one. He came out and he had this huge like Statue of Liberty crown, and he was dressed like Freddie Mercury, and I'm like, this guy, before he ever stepped foot in the ring, he was walking down that long ramp. I'm like, this dude is the best dude. This guy is awesome. And then he wrestled. And then I saw how good he was. I'm like, dude, why did I not tune into this earlier? Why have I not been paying attention to this guy? But now he's just like a shadow of his former self. He got comfortable in the WWE style or what have you. I don't know. I'm not friends with the guy. I don't talk to him, but I would love to see him recapture that spark and be the Nakamura that I saw in 2016 or whatever it was.
100%.
100%. Yeah. Well, I had this list of questions, but like as we've been talking, we've kind of answered all of them.
Great.
Yeah. We had this kind of Adam and I had been talking, and we kind of came up with this list of questions. But yeah, we've literally like one just kind of led into the other, and we've gone over them all. So I'm like not sure what to ask now. You mentioned that you were, excited, for things that go on at the same time of the year, where you're like Continental Classic.
Mm-hmm.
We do a Continental Classic special that we've done pretty much I think we've covered it twice now.
Yeah, I think so.
So we do a Continental Classic special. We're usually on break when the Continental Classic goes on. So we come in like in the middle, towards the end of the tournament, and we do a special and talk about that. Would you like to come on for that? And
I would love it. I love talking about wrestling. Yes, it'll be so much fun. It'll be like the March Madness when they do the breakdown beforehand. I used to during in 2020. I would go on walks on our track and stuff when it was nice out. It was something I could do, and I would be listening to wrestling podcasts like the Eric Bischoff one and other thing. And so many of those took a huge dive. So I need a new wrestling podcast. Eric Bischoff is just so whiny, and he has been for years. There were a few years there where these things would scratch a nostalgia itch, and then they went through all of the good content. The Bruce Pritchard one had a lot of really cool stories, and then he went back to WWE.
I used to listen to that one when I was mowing my lawn.
Yeah,
it was great content. Great
the
stories.
Early ones he did about the Rockers and Brett and Hogan, were really cool, and then became so corporate from him, and
and running out of stuff to talk about. He was with them for so long, but that means he only has so much to talk about too. So,
and I think the Continental Classic is, if you are looking to get into AEW, look into any wrestling company, that is one of the best times to be into it. Of course, one of the other best times to be into wrestling would have been when the Darby Allin's title reign this year.
Oh my gosh!
And who could have predicted that? I was at a baseball game the day he won the title, and I got home just in time for the main event and I'm glad. I was recording it on Sling, so I would have seen it anyway. But that is, if you were wanting to get into a wrestling company, you just watch that month. That would have been, that could have hooked you on for years.
Yeah. I went to Double or Nothing this year.
So that would have been so good.
That crowd was insane. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever been in a wrestling crowd that was more enthusiastic than that. And to see Darby and MJF do that, with the crazy just coffin drop off the top, that scaffolding looked high on camera. It was higher in person. It looked higher.
Yeah, I saw some fan footage of it.
Yeah, it was.
I was so jealous.
I was right there by the entrance too. I was right there, so I saw he just scrambled up there like Spider-Man and just threw himself off. Doesn't get hurt because he's Darby.
So you're mentioning wrestling shows that are really. I should mention one of the biggest wrestling shows I've been to, because I've been to a bunch of AEW shows, Ring of Honor shows, WrestleMania 40. But I was at King of the Ring 98, Undertaker, Mankind. And my friend and I didn't have anyone to go to it with, and I really wanted to go, and we got some of the last tickets. So we're way up high. I still remember being amazed that people were cheering for the Undertaker after he murdered Mick Foley because you didn't know what was going on. And of course, he couldn't hear JR. Like you're just watching it. And,
Yeah,
like
you're in the
it
crowd.
was so shocking, and I wasn't even sure how much I liked the match because I was just so shocked at the what seemed like a murder. And work, and so being up high, kind of like you being at the entrance, like you get a different perspective of the cage going up and Undertaker standing up on it, like, and suddenly he's eye level with you when you're sitting in the nosebleeds section. That experience that I'm never gonna forget is seeing. And if I tell people, like, I bought a cameo from Mick Foley and I mentioned that I was there, I don't think he knew what I understood the note, but I told him in person, and he was like, "That's cool." He didn't get that at his shows aside from being in Pittsburgh.
Man, that is
Wow.
oh man, that's some legendary shit.
That's
man.
crazy.
I mean, I also got to see Mabel versus Diesel live, so that's SummerSlam '95, which is not
Got to. That's a way of putting it.
That's like you when you're young and you go to any wrestling show, and like you said, Aaron, like you got to see like certain wrestlers before they were a big deal, so you didn't appreciate maybe you did as an adult, but like as a kid you didn't appreciate how good these people are. Like seeing certain people and realizing, oh, I saw them at the beginning of their career, or like I got to see Macho Man in Pittsburgh and didn't realize. I mean, I realized it, but like, oh, that's how lucky that was to get to see that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this is we got oh my gosh, we're gonna have to have the mayor here on quite a bit because there's some of these stories.
Yeah,
I'm gonna want to hear more.
Cow.
I'm gonna want to hear more of these stories because you're talking about being at shows that I remember being on the couch for, like as a young teenager and stuff like that. So I mean, we're only like 4 years apart. So, but like I just wrestling, even though we're Terry Funk's area, they just don't come here that often. I've never had a Raw in Amarillo. We've never had an AEW show in Amarillo. Like ROH has been here, and a lot of house shows, WCW. We had some WCW Saturday night tapings here in like 94, 95. So I saw like a lot of Sting and Flair and Giant Gonzalez.
Oh, nice.
But
I mean, seeing him in person must have been something. Holy cow.
As a itty bitty, like 7, I think, or 8-year-old kid, I was standing right next to the entrance where he came out, and he was massive. Like
that dude was a 7'7", something
absolutely
like that.
The tallest human I've ever laid eyes on in person. No lie, like no question about it.
Oh, I bet.
Absolutely the biggest guy. But yeah, we're gonna have to do like story time with the mayor. Soon, maybe again before the Continental episode.
Well, just message me because we could talk about favorite matches, favorite pay-per-views, favorite rivalries. There's so many rivalries in wrestling that I love, whether it's Claudio and Eddie Kingston or Shawn and Brett or whatever. Like there's so many things where you can see how wrestling has improved because of certain stories that happened, certain news stories, and at the time maybe you didn't recognize. Like I love the Shawn and Brett first match, the 92 Survivors. That wasn't their first match, but like that led to so many things. Or you look at one thing that's kind of neat, because you guys are both long-term fans, there's this woman on TikTok who, I don't know, she's like in her early 20s, and she's like been going through every WrestleMania and watching them. So she's more of a WWE fan. But when you see newer fans get into this and like watch old stuff, and some of the things that you liked, they might not like, or like they're excited for a certain wrestler, and like so they don't know how they were at the beginning, or that maybe not appreciate something. When I was at one AEW show a few years ago, I guess it was 2022. I turned over to the guy next to me, and he's like, "Oh, I've been watching wrestling since 2016." I'm like, oh, all right, that's cool, man. Like that, like good for you. Like that's
cool. Yeah, I mean, it is a different thing. It's great to see. It's encouraging to see people still like getting into it for the first time. Because there was, for so long, there was there was all this talk about how the target demographic isn't changing, and the audience is mostly made up of like the same people who watched 20 years ago, and this, that, the other thing. It's like it's really rewarding to see people with that much enthusiasm that are so new. They're coming into it for the first time because I've always been a big tent guy when it comes to fandom. Like I never understood like gatekeeping. Like why would
100%.
Why would you want to limit the joy that you feel for something that you love? Why would you not want to share that? Why would you not want to open people up to something that gives you so much satisfaction?
Mm-hmm.
So like, I never ever chase anybody off from wrestling. We already have a bad reputation as a fan. We can't afford to be doing that. So I always welcome in, and maybe I'm a little too intense, but I'm always like, okay, you should watch this, 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 and it's like I love introducing people to wrestling because wrestling won't survive if we don't get new fans, and you can't. As much as I would like to think that I'm going to be raising my kids with it, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to stick with it.
Yeah, and you can get into wrestling at any point in your life. Like there's people who grew up with it from being babies and watching with their parents or babysitting, right? Like I started at age 11 because my friend liked it, and I would have got into it earlier if my parents liked it. They always thought it was dumb. I remember they were in a bowling league, and I was with them because that I'm an only child, so I had to be with them. And so we went out for food afterwards. And Saturday night's main event came on, and it was the one with Hogan and Sid versus Undertaker and Ric Flair as the main event.
Okay.
And I don't know if it was the main event or not, but I remember like I felt like I was getting away with something because like they were all talking like adults, and I got to watch this cool thing. But you can get into it at 45 or 50. Like you can retire and just like start getting it. And there's a whole like if you like baseball or football, you're probably, if you're a fan, you don't really have a need to go back and watch just random games. Like some people do, for granted, but like if you like wrestling, you can just go back 50 years or more and find unique matches. Oh, you've never seen this before? Like you mentioned Nakamura. You've never seen Nakamura versus Sami Zayn from 2017. You should watch it. Like it's a unique thing to watch. Or Nakamura versus AJ Styles. Like you don't have to like start from here and ignore everything that happened before. So if you want to get into it now, at any age in your life, you've got a wealth of content that you can enjoy forever, and it's not going to be the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the benefit of like, especially just the history of wrestling, because you got all the territories and you got overseas companies, you got Mexico and Canada and all the territories that were within those places. I mean, you could probably, I would wager, you could probably continuously watch wrestling starting from this point now and never stop watching until you die. Like, I mean, like, there's probably enough content out there like that. A person's entire life could be encompassed in the amount of wrestling content that they could consume, which would be crazy to see how that would turn out for someone. But at the same time,
I mean, and if you told me to watch a '92 Rumble once a year, I'll watch it once a year or twice a year. Like, it's not like you have to watch it once and like.
Yeah, I've been watching AEW pay-per-views. I mean, they're 6 hours long, and I'm watching them twice, 3 times sometimes.
Yeah, I have HBO Max, so I have been going in the backlog, and like it's a neat watching wrestling at the gym is something that's easy for me because again I don't have to like necessarily pay too much attention. I can pause it at whatever point, but I also distract myself from the fact that I'm exercising, and so I can watch a pay-per-view for a week by like going into chunks while I'm on the elliptical machine, or come back and finish it somewhere else, and it's great. And so I've been going back and seeing shows that I hadn't seen before, and people will say, "Oh, AEW was at its best in 2021," and like, no, the quality has increased so much in the past 6 years. Like it was good, that was great then. Don't get me wrong, but just an average AEW, like people thought the Redemption was just okay. And if you look at Redemption versus things from 5 years ago, like the bar, it just keeps going up.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I noticed so many people on my Skyline were kind of down on it. I'm like, the show is like really, really good. Like, a couple of matches were, uh, there was the bar has just been set so high. Like every single pay per view this year, over really the past like year and a half, has been a big hit. Like
Yeah,
match after match after match after match has been excellent.
I've missed 2 pay-per-views this year, and I regretted it. One, I bought Revolution, but they had some problem on Max, so I couldn't
I
watch
think
it.
I remember that. Yeah,
and I got a refund, so I saw some of it, and I need to wait until it comes on. And I'm not going to pay for it after the fact, but I'm looking forward to seeing that. And I was kind of watching it on my phone, which is not the same as watching it on your TV.
That's really
so looking forward to seeing MJF, Adam Page, like on a bigger screen. And I didn't see Forbidden Door because I had a work event and got home late, and it's like, well, I know what's going to happen. It's fine. I was like exhausted, and then I heard everyone say it's Swerve versus Osprey was the best match I'd seen all year, and I was like, oh man, I can't wait to see it. So every time I don't get an AEW pay per view, I end up regretting because people are like, this was the best show of the year. Like there was one or two last year that I didn't get, and because I can't get them all the time, and I was like, oh, everyone's saying this was so good, and I missed that one match. So there's always at least 2 matches on the show that are match of the year contenders.
Yeah. Like it's the quality of wrestling is just it's through the roof. It's gonna be really, I think it's gonna be really tough this year to like pin down one match of the year. Like, how do you choose? There's so many candidates.
Easy. Usually, like it's easy, but like especially these last like 7 years or so, it has been like really difficult to pick just one match where I'm like, this is the one, like.
Yeah. And that Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay are planning for their match to be the best match of the year.
They're planning on making it some magnum opus thing. Yeah.
And how like both of them have had amazing matches already this year. Both of the MJF Kenny Omega matches were fantastic. The Will Ospreay's been awesome. So that's the thing is buying it is going. I'm looking forward to that show because I know these matches are going to be phenomenal. And I don't even if I can kind of guess who's going to win, I don't know what's going to happen afterwards. But I know that it's not going to be some lame story with some drama and then like a roll up or interference. It's going to be 45 minutes of some of the best wrestling I've ever seen.
Yeah. Maybe longer with those two.
With those two, it could be. I mean, I think last year's Owen Finals, Hanger and Ospreay, I think went like 40 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
They probably will be looking to beat that. I imagine.
I bet.
If it would not surprise me, world title matches have a 60-minute time limit. Wouldn't surprise me if they tease a Broadway only to dusty it.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. I know it's going to be worth it. I'm glad that it's on in the afternoon. I like when they have the earlier shows sometimes. I don't complain about the late shows. Like, if I'm paying $40 for a pay-per-view, I would rather get my money's worth than get 5 matches and a lot of ads. So I'm fine with that. I'm never going to complain about more wrestling.
Yeah, me either.
But I just know it's going to be awesome. And the other stuff, we'll see what happens with the tag stuff. I'm going to keep my hopes up that maybe something else happens with that between now and then. But I know everything on the show is going to be amazing.
Yeah, so it's going to be great. Yeah, now especially, but I'm also hoping something different happens with the tags because we know New Day's coming. Motor City showed up this week. Like
we're hoping. You and I are still hoping that FTR gets worked in there somehow.
Yeah, I'm still hoping for like a 6-team ladder match of some kind.
Yeah,
prefer.
Like, it would make so much sense. I'm hoping for either a 3 or 4 man, or 4-team ladder match. And maybe they'll do that later. I don't know.
They can do it all out.
Yeah. But, I mean, it would be so... I think more people would buy the show if you had Cope and Kristen, Young Bucks, and you added New Day. Like, I think New Day is going to sell a lot of tickets, if whatever they call themselves.
Whatever whatever they do, they've got to be on that card. They need to
Yeah.
be on that card.
Yeah.
I
Push
think they need to
past.
debut them before then. I think they need to.
Yeah.
Some people have talked about them being a surprise on the show, and
No,
I'm sure you
don't
could
do
do that, but like, it's
No,
one of those
advertise
things.
them for the show. That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
You want to
Everyone
advertise
knows
them
they're
for
going to
the
be
show.
there. You
Yeah.
can't and seeing them versus the Young Bucks alone, I think that I actually liked the Cope and Christian versus Death Riders match at Redemption. I thought it was really fun. It was a
Yeah.
different style. So I am not against them as a tag team now, but I would just Young Bucks are at such a high level that adding something else to it would be good to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential. I mean, I'm still waiting on a full-on Brawling Birds versus Divine Dominion announcement. I'm wondering if they're going to insert Tekla into the women's title match.
Yeah. I mean, they've already
I doubt
announced. They've already announced a men's casino battle royal. So I'm wondering if maybe they just do a women's one as well and throw her in there. Because
I would
unless
kind
they
of
bring
rather they
somebody in
didn't.
from. Me too. I would rather they bring like Starlight Kid and run that back to continue the feud with Stardom. Personally.
Or there's rumors of Kyrie Sane coming in.
Oh,
That would be great.
Oh
That'd
man,
be
I hope so. I hope so
fantastic.
much.
And
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to having a men's and women's version of things. I thought that the women's blood and guts match I may have liked that even more than the men's one last year. I enjoyed it a lot.
We did too. Yeah.
I think I think a lot of the women wrestlers in AEW are underrated. And so there's so many things I think are really great. But as much as I like the Casino Battle Royal matches, I think having one on the card is good, and they could do the three other women's matches because you can obviously have Monet versus Willow, which has a long story to it. So I mean, it's a good story, and I love Willow, and I think she's a national treasure. And
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, she is.
she a Willow nothing matters smile anyway shirt. That's a shirt I would wear anywhere, wrestling wise or otherwise. So I think that will be good. But then you add the tag title match and then TBS title match or whatever that will be. I mean that should be great enough as it is.
Yeah. It also comes down to what the philosophy would be. Do you want there to be more representation on the female side from having more matches or having more participants? Because like you could fit more women on the card with a casino royal battle royal, and get more ladies paid. But that would be at the sacrifice at the expense of actual storylines for the division.
Or you could have like Tekla
matches,
and her group versus Stardom in some
that'd
multi-person
be
tag.
great.
That would be
Like,
great.
I would absolutely accept that. 100%.
They could have Starlight Kid, Kyrie Sane defending Stardom against Sisters of Sin, and who cares who wins? It'll be entertaining.
Yeah, it would be really entertaining. Yeah.
So
Kyrie, Hazuki, and
Hazuki's been
Starlight
getting over.
Kid. Yeah, Hazuki's been getting really over, man. She did a really great job this week too. So
yeah, and I actually hope that Athena finally loses the title so she could win something in AEW because I have liked Athena for a long time. I don't know the situation there, but I always find her unique. Like that's the thing about wrestling. Like we said, like when you have someone whose moves and style are different from other people's, that's fun. And Athena, no one is wrestling in the same way as her, so I always like her matches.
Yeah, she's my wife's favorite wrestler. So
she's one of mine for sure.
Yeah.
And every interview I've heard of her, she just sounds like such a relatable, normal, fun person. So I like seeing Athena a lot. I would like to see her win any of the AEW women's titles, whether it's singles or tags with her Minions group. So there's so many of the wrestlers, men and women, that I would like to see more tag stuff.
Yeah, we talked a lot about how Athena needs to be on the main roster of AEW, and and how the women's tag division needs more tag teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, Athena, I just want her to win things because I'm a Texas referee and I've worked her a lot, and she's just the sweetest person. She really is just the nicest person. I have one of the best people to be around in the backstage area, especially here in like the Texas indie scene.
I bet.
She's just a sweetheart, and so I want everything for her. I just
Yeah,
want her to have everything, So
as much as I love Tony Storm, I was rooting for Athena to win last year because
me too, actually. Yeah.
So, and I love Tony Storm is one of my favorite wrestlers of the last
Oh,
25 years. Just
I
so
miss
much
her
fun.
so much. I miss her so much.
Yeah, so when she
But,
comes back, it's going to be massive. It would be fantastic.
I'm probably gonna break down and cry when she comes back. Tears of
I'll be
joy
clapping.
streaming down my face.
I'm sad that I'm going to be away the weekend of the Ring of Honor show in Philly, so I can't go to that because I would just go myself even if I had to. Because I actually hope Nick Wayne wins the Ring of Honor title so that Bandito can just be totally focused on AEW because his stuff in Ring of Honor has been awesome. But Bandito, seeing him win a singles title in AEW would be so good. Like Bandito, like Andrade is the national champion, and it's kind of hard to know the rankings and stuff. But Andrade versus Bandito, that would be a huge awesome
families.
Yeah,
put that in Arena Mexico. God,
I'm surprised they're not doing something like that. I mean, they have. I can't wait for this Arena Mexico show. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I can't believe it's in 3 days.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like so close. But then so is All In, and it's just like it's almost like stop. It can only be so good, guys. Like, but at the same time, it's like no, don't. Like definitely don't stop doing what you're doing. Just keep on doing what you're doing. So it's I almost like have reached the apex of hype. Like I can't be any more excited but then they do things and I'm more excited somehow, and I'm like, at what point do I like bust a few, of like an excitement view? Like at what point am I just never going to be excited again because I got too excited? Like because they just keep doing this to me, like week after week. I'm like, oh, I really can't wait for the All In pay-per-view, but then they got matches on Arena Mexico that I'm like, I cannot wait for that. I didn't even know I wanted that.
Yeah, like, and honestly, even just a random collision show will sometimes have a pay-per-view, a match that, like, again, I've been watching wrestling for 35 years. There will be a match on Collision that would have been a match of the year contender for most of my life. Just
on a random Saturday.
Oh yeah, Jay White and Clark Connors, like that match was phenomenal.
I think Clark Connors is really underrated. I like him because he's got a unique style. I like him more than I like Dave Finlay from what I've seen. So I'm but I hope that Jay White finally gets the big push. Like I think that's one of the few big singles matches for Ospreay that we haven't seen in AEW that I think we'll probably get. Hopefully everyone's healthy.
I hope so. I feel like there's a ready-made story there. I mean, we all were pretty much confident that Ospreay is going to win the belt. So, like, you start when you get that in your mind, you start thinking, okay, who are the challengers? And Jay White's one of those that first pops into your brain. He's been injured for so long. They have history in New Japan. The styles would mesh really, really well. I mean, who better to challenge the more aggressive, Will Ospreay than somebody who takes a defensive stance and really excels at countering people like Jay White does. Like it would be a really, really fun matchup, a really cool test for him. Even right out of the gate, I think it would be really, really fun.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it could be that Jay White wins the Casino Battle Royal at All In. That would make a lot of sense. That would be really cool. I don't think it'll be Moxley because I think he'll be defending his Continental title. It seems like with the Continental Cup.
I can't see him not making the finals of the Continental Cup.
Yeah, so those seem like they would be the top two options, especially since it seems like it's building towards Kyle Fletcher either versus Okada or Kyle Fletcher Okada Takeshita as a three-way of the show. Either one of those would be fantastic. So like, because Kyle Fletcher would be another good one to win that and go because
Yeah,
versus um, Osprey. There's only so many wrestlers who could win it, and it would be like ooh, I can't wait to see this for either the first time or I haven't seen it in a while. Like,
right.
I would love to see Swerve get another shot at it, but he just wrestled Osprey, so I'm be interested in unless they bring in someone new. Like, there's talk about a few people, mentioned, United Empire in Japan, so maybe they'll bring in someone that's a surprise. It's a lot of uncertainty there with who might win that match.
Yeah. And remember too, like the Battle Royal, I think they have a somewhat, they still have the somewhat like Money in the Bank aspect to it. Like you still need a week notice ahead of time, but it's not a scheduled match so far as I can tell. I think they're still doing it. Oh, this is a contract and you can sign it, and then a week later you can get the shot. So they can drag that out for however long they need to.
Yes, and I appreciate that they did that. That they rolled out like Tony Khan. I like that Tony Khan's the best authority figure we've had in wrestling in a long time because he's not obtrusive. He's not on every show. He's not like doing all this
make
stuff.
It about him,
right?
Yeah.
So they have this kind of WWE like gimmick, like Money in the Bank, but they're like, no, we're not them. So. Yeah. And it made that match last year with the World's End like a better story with not being a WWE finish, but instead MJF inserting himself. The ending was really smart. It wasn't the best match on the card by far because there were so many good other matches on the card. But it was still a really smart, like, this is how a heel should win the title. He won fair and square, like, by the rules of the match. He didn't, like, just
the rules of the match. And he didn't do anything technically illegal.
Right.
No DQs in a 4-way.
Right, but it wasn't like someone just got distracted in the roll up. He won it in a smart way, but he won it by inserting himself. Like, the logic was good, and it wouldn't have worked as well if it was how it had been before.
Right.
Yeah,
well, I think with that, we've been talking for nearly 2 hours. Somehow,
I appreciate it. Yeah, I need to get ready for work tomorrow.
Sure.
I appreciate it. I look forward to coming on to talk about any of the AEW shows or the Continental Classic or in between. Just let me know. And I appreciate all the work you're doing to bring more people to wrestling.
Oh, man, we really appreciate having you, man. We really do. Yeah, thank you for coming on. We're definitely going to have you back. I'll be emailing you probably tomorrow morning, and we'll talk some more dates. Okay?
All right. Well,
yeah,
I'll look. We'll figure it out, and hopefully we can encourage some more people to watch this because it's going to be great. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the months ahead.
Us too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on, man.
Thank you. Let me get the.
Ooh. All right.
Well, that was bracing. That was a fantastic conversation we just had with Mayor Tony Heyl of Bridgeport, Pennsylvania. That pretty much wraps up everything for this week.
Yeah, that's everything for this week. We really appreciate everybody who's listening this week. If you came through the mayor's website or from one of his social medias, thank you for joining us this week. We're really glad you could be here with us. We hope you enjoyed the show. We hope you come back. We will be having him back for sure. I'm definitely going to have that guy, on the schedule now, because there are so many shows he talked about just now in that conversation that I want in-depth story. I need in-depth stories.
Yeah,
I need more than 2 minutes on that Hell in a Cell. I have to have more than 2 minutes. Yeah. So, that's definitely going to be some more of the mayor on the Call It in the Ring segment. Thanks everybody for listening this week. It's a tough world out there, so keep your head on your shoulders and keep a nice swivel on it, and stay safe, stay healthy. We love you, and as always, Buckeyes.
Buckeyes.
And fuck Don Callis too.
Yes.
Peace.
Peace, homies.